Major theft of centuries-old jewels on display.
The heist in broad daylight took only 7 minutes. Officials say just before the museum was set to open, 4 men disguised as construction workers gained access, 2 of them using power tools to cut into the Apollo Gallery, where Napoleon III's crown jewels were on display.
ABC's Allison Kosick there. They took 8 pieces, including sets of sapphire and emerald necklaces and earrings, elaborate diamond brooches, 2 diadems, and Napoleon's wife's, Empress Eugenie's diamond-encrusted golden crown. It's about 200 years old. Prosecutors say that was recovered at the scene. It was damaged and left behind as the thieves made their getaway on scooters. Market Numbers Report now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Concern on Wall Street about the health of the nation's regional banks after a few of them wrote off bad loans to commercial customers in the last 2 weeks. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon warned last week that more problems might arise. At the end of a meeting involving the world's largest maritime nations, the U.S. blocked a global fee on shipping emissions. The group had been discussing how to move the shipping industry away from fossil fuels. The group also didn't adopt any new regulations. Looking at the week ahead, on Thursday, we'll get government data on existing home sales for September. And on Friday, inflation data for September, as well as a read on new home sales. Dave Packer, ABC News.
And stock futures this morning are on the plus side. The Dow futures up 89, NASDAQ futures gaining 86. We've got S&P futures up 17. That is the latest news. Traffic is coming up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Well, things look really good so far this morning. I am seeing no delays on any of the major roads heading in. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Happy Monday. How are you? How are you? Hope you're doing great. Joan, we and Sam and we are going to talk about Vanderbilt football.
I cannot wait for that segment, Dan.
You're lying. Coming up at 5:35 on Nashville's Morning News. I'm not going to talk much about the football game itself, although from what I understand, Vandy is ranked. Help me out, Sam. Vandy is ranked in the top 10 in the SEC. Is that what I understand? Are they 10th?
I think they're top 5 in the SEC.
So isn't that crazy?
It is crazy, and right now I think they're scoring at the same pace as the Vols out in Knoxville.
All right, so we're going to talk about that at 5:35. We're not going to do X's and O's, but I have, in very short order, become a fan of their quarterback. And Joan is going to as well. And all of that is coming up.
Can't we talk about defensive plays and, the tush push and things like that?
Joan, can we be honest?
What?
You like the tight pants.
Well,
I'm
a woman.
All right, moving right along. Oh, by the way, in addition to that, Joan, I got a bone to pick with you.
Uh-oh.
And we're not going to talk about it now because I got a lot of business to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
I got bones to pick with the Democrats. Did you watch the, so that's at 5:35.
Lumped me into that category?
No, not that bad.
Okay.
Not
Oof.
yet. Give it time. So the No Kings protest.
Mm-hmm.
How far deep have you looked into the No Kings protests? Because did you see all of it went from the violent to the absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
There is one, all of this is on my X feed at Dan Manda Show. And so there's one moment where you've got a lot of these people that are dressed up. They're dressed up sort of as like lice, but they're
dressed up as lice.
Yes,
Lice agents.
Yes, and they're like ICE agents, but they're lice agents, and they're like rolling around or something on the Constitution. I didn't really even understand what that was. But here's the thing. Do they even understand this? I don't think that they do.
No, they saw an opportunity to make costumes. We're like, we're all over this.
They also had Furbies. Or furries.
Well, of course,
furries.
yes,
They had furries. They again dressed up as lice agents.
I'm
Well, I
sure
guess
that there
if
were
they're-
people over 60 who were out there singing Kumbaya, playing guitars, right?
Oh yeah, they were all. You had them in makeup. You had them in costume. These are not. Can we just be honest? These are not serious people.
No.
Either they are really dumb, they have no idea what in the world they're talking about, or they're just simply insane. So I've got all of that, but I think that Donald Trump was spot on when he
The
said
Democrats are kamikazes right now. They're kamikaze pilots right now. They have nothing going. They have no future. They have incompetent candidates. I mean, I looked at Crockett, Jasmine Crockett. She's a low.
Did you hear what he said?
She's a...
No. Did you hear what else he said? Did you pick up on it? Sam picked up on it. Hold on, Joan. Listen.
Crockett, Jasmine Crockett.
Okay.
I actually heard that on I was hosting Red Eye. I actually heard that on Red Eye, and I'm thinking, should I go ahead and just have some fun with that? And I decided no, because it's the network.
Yeah.
The network gets a little stuffy, if you know what I mean.
Oh, so we can get a little loosey-goosey around here?
We can get a little loosey-goosey because nobody in management listens to us.
Right.
I think
That
we've
is
already figured
so
that
true.
out. Anyway, here's more from Trump.
She's a very low IQ person. She's polling okay in the Democrat Party. I can't even believe it. AOC is, I watched her the other day. It's like, you got to be kidding. This is not going to make our country great. And for us to have a communist mayor, it looks like we're going to in New York. He's not a socialist. He's a communist. And it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. And when you look at the most popular figures in the Democrat Party, I mean, he just named them, right? Mamdani, Jasmine Crockett.
What about Bernie Sanders? Come on.
AOC, Bernie Sanders, Joan. That's exactly right.
I'm asking you for more money at this time.
Here's the crazy thing, though. For the No Kings protest, I mean, one of the things, I don't know if you guys saw it. I was actually, can I just say that I was very proud of this post? Over the weekend, I have this, my friend Aaron sent me a Christmas ornament, and it is an ornament of the Electoral College map, with all the red states, right?
I saw that. That was great.
And it's a Christmas tree ornament. And so I said something like, okay, so what do you get the No Kings protester in your life? Why don't you get them this ornament of Donald Trump's electoral map for 2024, and they can put it on their No Kings tree? And it's obviously, you want to sort of rib or jab the No Kings protester in your life. But Trump is accomplishing a lot. And so one of the questions that I posed last night was, while Trump is getting all of this done, right? I mean, what are the Democrats doing? They are obstructionist in keeping the government closed. That's number one. And number two, they're out here doing this nonsense. And number three, they're prohibiting ICE from doing what they're supposed to do with all of their, stupid judges and stuff. So when you look at who's, getting her done, I mean, obviously it's Donald Trump and the Republicans. I mean, the Republicans want to get stuff done. We're getting as much done as we possibly can with the obstructionist Democrats in the way. But what are they doing? They're not doing anything except this.
Giving Tim Burchett great material. Did you see his social media feed over the weekend?
You'll have to be more specific. Because I know that there was a talk about like orgies or something with he and Tucker Carlson.
Well, I just meant the things that he posted out on Instagram and Twitter.
Oh, no. What did he just...
Oh, so he got Elizabeth Warren real good. She tweeted out, Boston has been defying kings since we threw tea into the harbor in 1773. And so Burchett retweeted, they were pretending to be Indians, just like you, Senator.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he has one of him outside of a Burger King. We'll find it. We'll play it on the stream later.
Yes, he does. And that one was funny. He's got the little, the BK King,
crown on. He's holding a Whopper.
Can I ask you a question, though? So I'm reading about the protests over the weekend, Joan and Sam, and a few of these articles said Americans were on edge this weekend as protests raged across the country. Of the three of us, were any of you on edge? No. I was watching football, and I was, did a little bit of drinking this weekend, and day drinking at that, and I wasn't on edge at all. No. I'm laughing, actually, because nobody that I know is actually paying attention to these constant protests from the left. I mean, are you, Joan? Are you saying I'm not?
No, in fact, I found myself, I don't think this was an actual post, but there was a post attributed to Donald Trump, and I don't think it was for real, but it said, him saying, gosh, for a moment there, I thought that there was a king trying to take my place. But there's not. Turns out I'm still I'm still your president. Thanks for alerting me to that, all you protesters.
That was Donald Trump. That was real, Joan. Yeah, that was real.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't find it on his True Social, so I didn't think it was for real.
I pay attention because I'm fascinated by what the messaging is at these protests. So you're protesting no
there
kings.
Is no messaging.
Well, exactly. It's all surface level. And so what fascinates me is the kind of permeation into the masses' minds, where there's this hive mindset that, like, they won't acknowledge it, and they call us the sheep, and that we're part of the cult, but they're just sucking up. Donald Trump is an authoritarian. He is trying to be king, and that's just their whole thing.
Well, I akin them to zombies. Like, you ever see World War Z?
Great movie
with Brad Pitt. I mean, that's what I see them like. That when Brad Pitt and his family are driving down the streets of Pennsylvania, I think it's Philadelphia, and the zombie apocalypse begins, and they're just running all over the place. Joan, did you ever see that movie, World War Z?
No.
So they're just running around like zombies. That is what these No Kings protests look like to me, just a bunch of zombies. That's the only thing because they're just like, they don't really have a mind of their own, it seems to me. I mean, you listen to what they have to say. I've got some audio of I played it on Red Eye, and I'm going to play it here too, but of a guy who simply wades into the crowd. And you know what he said? You know what his shirt says? His shirt says, "For Charlie Kirk."
What?
Wait till you hear the reaction from people who are at these No Kings protests.
Yeah.
It's actually, if it wasn't so dangerous, it would be funny. Like that, like right now, I am torn between laughing my ever-loving arse off and, because I don't get mad anymore, I just don't, but I do get horrified. And there's some parts of this story that I feel are absolutely horrifying. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. 5:15 on Nashville's Morning News. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Not seeing any delays so far this morning. Everything checks out good on 24, on 65, and on 40. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. As far as your weather goes, fall is here. Sunny with a high of 70. Getting down into the mid-50s tonight. It's chilly, to say the least.
It might be a bit nipply outside, eh?
Yes, indeed. This is Trump talking about the No Kings protests.
What's your response to the protests over the weekend, the No Kings protests?
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for, I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics. It looks like it was. We're checking it out. The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
Mr. President, besides San Francisco...
By the way, I'm not a king. I'm not a king. I work my ass off to make our country great. That's all it is. I'm not a king at all.
There you go. And you know, the funny thing is they don't realize how inaccurate they are in portraying what Donald Trump is going through, right? Clearly, he's not a king, because if he were a king, or if you had a king in America, they would not allow anti-king protests. In other words, Donald Trump is right. Again, we don't have a king. And if Trump were king, then why do so many of his and Republicans' legislation end up in the courts? A king would just do it by decree, right? And that'd be the end of it. No courts, no lawyers, no battles. And here's the last one. And I know that everyone, and I know that you've probably seen all of this online, Joan. Ironic that the same people that placed Kamala Harris at the top of their ticket without even a primary and no questions asked are now complaining that Donald Trump is a king. Trump, who went through a legit primary the first go-round and a primary this time as well. So, you know, for me, the people that are answering the No Kings protests, I mean, it's just too easy. Because it doesn't make any sense from a historical standpoint, from a philosophical standpoint, from a political standpoint. It just doesn't. By the way, turns out, big story from the Daily Mail, which is, I thought this was interesting because there's a big story about how they've got George Soros, like in the crosshairs, paying for all of this. Reports that George Soros has quietly bankrolled key organizers for years, have sent shockwaves through Washington, and set the stage for a political collision between the Trump administration and the nonprofit world. Well, I don't know why they say that there are shockwaves going through Washington. Everybody knew that George Soros, or at least has long suspected, that George Soros was paying for all of this. I think that people may be shocked because the DOJ is actually willing to go after Soros. That actually might be part of the conversation. It is 5:20. The other thing I thought was interesting is, you know, we had Jonathan Cain from Journey on the phone on Friday. And some of these people were playing Don't Stop Believin' as their little theme song. Jonathan Cain is as pro-MAGA and pro-Trump as you'll ever find. And he himself told me on my show in a previous interview that that is more of a spiritual song. So they're even using a song that was written by a guy who is a pro-Trumper, very conservative, and his wife, I think it was Paula White Cain, is actually Donald Trump's spiritual advisor. So they just, as I said, they're running around like zombies, and they just have no idea with which they are talking about.
Well,
they simply don't.
That's why they get shocked when you tell them that, you know, what comes after Nazi in the party that Hitler started is Nazi socialist. Mm-hmm. They don't want to acknowledge that, or the fact that Soros helped the Nazis find Jews and he turned on people. I mean, come on, people. It's all out there.
522, Nashville's Morning News. Joan's got the news coming up at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, thousands of websites are down this morning, affected by an Amazon Web Services outage. Also, a traveling display in this area is about to depart. We'll tell you how to catch it before it's gone. Those stories and more at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, so Joan, can you explain to me this whole Amazon thing?
Yeah.
With the outage, because I'm seeing that some people are saying we're back, other people are saying that we're not, and I had no idea any of this was going on. But I did. But you know what's interesting? I did have some computer issues when I was doing overnight red eye.
Yeah.
So
It's not surprising. So companies use Amazon cloud computing web services frequently to manage the data that they use while they're in operation. It's, as we all know, Virginia has become the hub of Northern Virginia has become the hub of these data centers. They're
Right.
huge, massive data centers. And if one goes out, it can take down numerous companies. And that's what happened. It's companies' retail operations, a lot of online gaming services, things like that. I tried to use the Ring doorbell services this morning, and it's not functioning. So, it may be down for a while. Some pieces may come back up again and others not. It's going to be a while till they get through this.
all right, so our computers though seem to be working fine here.
Allegedly, reportedly, yes.
Well, except for Joan's camera.
Again.
They're gonna show up with torches and pitchforks.
Nobody's working on it.
Pitchforks.
Dan. Nobody's working on it.
I half anticipate Turd Ferguson to drive out and drop off a brand new camera.
Well, I sent an email on Thursday and Friday, and now I've sent another very strongly worded email on Monday. You know what? It's almost like, and Joan, I know you know what I'm talking about. You just want to see how long it's going to take.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like how we had
Yes.
to pass by the engineering room for 2 weeks while that TV sat in the box.
Dude, it wasn't 2 weeks. It was like 4 weeks. Joan, you know
Trying
this.
to be nice.
It was about 4. No, we love our engineering people. We got a lot going on around here. We're not throwing stones.
Can I just say that I've been thrown under the bus on the Murphy show for this?
Why?
What?
Yeah, because people are texting me online and saying, you should hear what they're saying about you.
Oh.
They're saying that if I broke the TV, that I probably broke my camera too.
Wow.
Like I did it on purpose.
Well, it can't handle your radiance. It's not
Right.
calibrated for
yeah,
that.
that's what it is.
Yeah. Murphy Show wanted to call me on Friday after my vasectomy because what I really wanted to do after that experience, which was horrifying, is to talk to Matt Murphy on the radio.
Of course.
I was, Joan. So he sent me a text and he's like, hey, you want to come? No, actually, I don't. My voice is about 3 octaves higher from the shot that I got. And then the picture that I sent to Joan, which my wife could not believe that I sent to Joan in the process of my vasectomy. We'll talk about that. Coming up next, it is 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 5:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A cold start to the morning, and then some sunshine today. Check it out, though. The high temps in the upper 60s and low 70s. What a perfect fall day we have in store for us. If you're trying to do something online today, but you're only getting an error message, there is a reason for that. Amazon's cloud computing services are down, and it's affecting companies around the world that rely on them.
At the height of the outage, the online tracker Down Detector received 6,000 user reports of issues, primarily in the eastern U.S. Among the products affected are Snapchat, Amazon Alexa, Roblox, and the Bank of Scotland. As of 4 a.m., the outage reports had begun to decline, and AWS said it had traced the problem to a facility in Virginia.
ABC's Jim Ryan there. I'm seeing plenty of sites this morning that are still affected by that widespread internet outage. A Clarksville road shut down for about 2 hours overnight after a high-speed chase involving a Tennessee highway patrolman, and that ended with a crash. WSMV4's Danielle Ledbetter.
It all started at the intersection of Tinytown Road and Peters Mill Road after a black Audi being chased by THP crashed into several other cars. The suspect was hurt and flown to a Nashville hospital.
And we don't yet have an ID on that suspect just yet. There is the last day. This is the last day to see the replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. The moving wall, as it's called, is at the Stewart County Community Park. That wall is a replica of the original Vietnam Veterans Memorial, which is on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. It's been traveling around the nation since 1984. Now, it is the last day for it. It's open to the public there at Stewart County Community Park. There is no charge to visit. That's the latest news. We've got your traffic up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Just a couple of slow spots this morning on 24 on the westbound side. Otherwise looking good. Traveling in on 65 and 24. No problems this morning. 40 looks great as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:36, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And we got the photograph up here of what I sent to Joan during my vasectomy. So
I was horrified.
I'm in the middle of my vasectomy, and I sent Joan a photo. You don't have it up? Oh, now I do. Okay. I sent Joan a photo of the chair. Now, guys, if you've ever had a vasectomy, because for people that don't know, I got my vasectomy on Friday. And I go in for my vasectomy, and it's a chair. And I don't know how else to describe the chair, but for a guy, you walk in, and clearly your feet are going to be up in stirrups. And it's like the very uncomfortable feeling. Now, I realize that women, Joan, I realize that women are kind of used to this thing. Like every year you got to do this. Is it every year?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And that's a Joan said, because I texted this picture to Joan, and she said, well, that's a birthing table or a birthing chair or whatever it is.
I mean, whatever. Like, why are you such a baby about this?
Well, because number one, can we just be honest and talk like adults for a minute? And about the insecurities of a 57-year-old man who hates every part of his body.
It's your show, man.
So I am praying that I have like a male nurse, right? And I, of course, had a female nurse. And so, number one, can I just say the experience of shaving was right up there with the experience of actually getting the vasectomy done? Because you got to shave like everything.
It's the same process, but one goes past the skin surface.
Whatever. Anyway, so there was
go get a Brazilian at the
No. You're not understanding, Joan. I want to be undressed in front of as few people as possible. I don't even want to see myself undressed, okay? So then you go in, and this nice nurse tells me to just pull it on down, right? So I got to get undressed. I got to put my feet in the stirrups thing. And then it is the most vulnerable feeling you have ever found, and you're already nervous.
No way.
And then she puts some sort of a white cream or something down there to like numb things. Oh, and she didn't warn me. I screamed like a little girl. I did. It really was rather horrifying, to be perfectly honest.
What was horrifying? It
was cold.
It's cold. Okay.
It was cold, and she didn't warn me.
Yeah.
And then you know what happened? I kid you not. I'm not going to say who the doctor was, but I was there in the office for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Part of my stress was that I was trying to get all the liquid out of me because I drink a lot when I'm doing the show, and I did this right after the show. But the other part is, after about 45 minutes of my feet in those stirrups,
your legs start to go to sleep.
And
you have to go
suddenly the entire office was silent. I thought they'd forgotten about me.
Oh.
I called Amy and I said, Amy, I don't know what to do. I am sitting in here and my feet are in the stirrups. I'm ready to go. I'm numb. And I don't think anybody's here. Honest to goodness, I thought they left for lunch or closed the office early on a Friday. And she says, well, do you want me to call the front desk? I mean, to see if there's anybody. I'm like, I'm in exam 1. Tell somebody to come help me. Finally, you get the knock on the door, and there's the vasectomy urologist doctor guy.
So you got a guy for that portion of it.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
And then it's like, the Sam, you're far too young for this, but the awkward vasectomy doctor-patient conversation.
Right. How's the weather today?
TV.
So, what do you do for a living? As he's sticking a needle right where you don't want the needle to go. And so I'm like, oh, God. Do I tell him what I do for a living? Because the last thing I want is to trigger a Democrat while he's down there doing my business, if you know what I mean.
Look, to him, you're just another pair.
So I said, I work in radio. Always oh, you're a DJ. Where are you a DJ
There you
at? It's
go,
like, no,
yeah.
I'm not a disc jockey. I'd make more money. I said, I'm a talk show host. Oh, you mean like a political guy? Pause.
Done.
Yeah, I am. And typically I don't shy away from that stuff. But again, he's got like needles and stuff down there.
He's got his little tray of tools.
Yep. So we got to talking. Luckily, he was not a flaming liberal. Not a conservative either, just kind of like an apolitical guy, which was fine, good, And we had a good conversation. And then it was me and the peas for the rest of the weekend. And then Murphy show, I get a text from
How was
Matt.
the drive home?
Oh, it was rough, man.
Yeah,
It was
I
rough.
would imagine.
Please, nobody slam on their brakes in front of me.
So yeah, and Matt wanted me to wanted to call me to kind of put me on the air
While you're in the car.
No. While I was at home, stoned out of my mind, because I went home and I took some gummies. So not only was I on pain relievers, but I was also on gummies. And I'm like, and I never say no to Matt because I love him so much. I was like, no, man, because I don't know what I would say.
Probably some crazy fun content.
Maybe, or perhaps the end of my career. There is that aspect as well. But you know what's interesting, though, Joan, is that as I was sitting in that chair,
Yeah.
and as this whole thing was going on, I thought, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking of like a theme song that could go along with my vasectomy. And this is the thing that popped in my head. And then ironically enough, just
That's why you thought it was so funny that I suggested
to watch Phantom of the Opera.
while you were home this weekend.
Joan gives me homework. Now, you and I made a deal a while ago, Joan,
Yeah.
where I was going to watch Phantom of the Opera while you were going to watch War of the Gargantuas.
Which I did.
You watched like 5 minutes.
I watched,
And you told
yeah.
me to watch the entirety of
But it's so
Phantom of the Opera.
interesting. It's so
You know what?
beautiful.
Can I tell you, it was a great movie except for the singing.
Not what? The whole thing is singing.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly right. And you know what? I got to tell you, didn't like the singing at all. And Amy's like, so I'm on the couch with my peas. Amy, of course, post-surgery is in the recliner. Neither one of us can move. And I'm like, why are they singing What's Happening? And she's like, well, it's a musical, Dan.
Thank you.
So then I'm like, oh, my Lord. And it's so dumb. Now, I realize that I'm like uncouth. I did, though, watch the entire thing, mainly because Amy had the remote.
Good. I'm glad.
And I was fading in and out.
I know what was rolling around in Dan's brain.
What's that?
Shut up.
That's exactly right. Stop singing. Well, yeah, you know what? If it wasn't for the I had to tell Amy to turn the closed caption on so I could figure out what in the world was going on. So
That's because you took too many gummies. It had nothing to do with the movie itself.
No, I'm here to tell you, based on personal experience, that would have made the movie more enjoyable.
Yeah.
If you were susceptible to finding that movie enjoyable.
I think that the high that I was at that point in made the movie more tolerable because I just didn't care. It was almost like, you ever been going back to high school? You ever been like stoned and watch like a stoned movie? You know what I mean? Like,
I'll never forget my first time seeing Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
yeah, something like that. That's kind of like how it felt watching Phantom of the Opera when I was recovering from my vasectomy. So thanks, Joan, for that homework assignment.
Yeah, sure. You were supposed to enjoy it, Dan. You were supposed to get into the storyline and how sad it was, but frightening. And
she expects you to come in here with an opera mask and a cape and everything.
just
like,
half
I
of your
am the
face,
Phantom.
Just half of your face covered by a mask that sticks to it. Hair slicked back. Yeah.
Nope. All right, real quick. The name of the Vanderbilt quarterback is what?
Diego Pavia.
Diego Pavia. So I did watch the Vandy game over the weekend, and it was number one, it was a really good game. Because you know what the great thing was about this weekend is that I had an excuse to sit around and watch football. I was absolved of any Dan chores, honeydews. Although I'm going to be honest, and don't tell Amy this, Joan, I was fully recovered by Saturday. But I was like, honey, I can't possibly take out the trash or do the dishes or vacuum.
The doctor said I shouldn't lift anything.
Milking, it's a strong term there, Joan.
Doctor said nothing strenuous, and you know what? Taking out that trash, strenuous.
That's strenuous, yeah.
Absolutely. So I was absolved of any honeydews. So I got to watch all the football I wanted to, which was great because I had to sit through Phantom of the Opera.
So who's this Diego Pavia guy?
So what was worse, Phantom of the Opera or the vasectomy?
Phantom.
Stop.
So Diego Pavia, whatever. All right. So
How do I know his name and you don't?
But I love what he had to say. Listen to this. This is great.
Congratulations. What was this performance like for you and this team?
Well, I feel like, I got a little overwhelming the past few weeks, and I really wasn't just being myself, and I wasn't really chasing God. And so he was there to humble me, and so Eli was there to tell me like where I was making the mistake, and that's where I was making the mistake. And I just got back on path. Obviously, no one's perfect, but I just want to chase him and encourage everyone to chase him. That's a better life out there.
So did something happen with? I mean, I love that he is talking about God because, I mean, let's be honest, you don't typically hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So when the Vandy quarterback, and I really enjoyed Vandy beating LSU 31-24. I think that was a pretty big upset.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big upset. And so now Vandy is in, are they 10th?
So they're now nationally ranked number 10 in the nation. I think it's the highest ranking they've had in a while. But they're officially, with this win, in the conversation for the college football playoff. I mean, their scoring pace has been ridiculous. They've had some crazy games this season. They put up 55 on Utah State, 70 on Georgia State.
Yeah.
They hung in there with Bama in the first quarter, a little bit into the first half, and then Bama kind of did what they do with their defense and sat back and dominated. But got a better record than the Vols do.
But Sam, you're telling me Johnny Manziel is coaching?
He's mentoring Diego Pavia. Pavia is famously settled a lawsuit with the NCAA over his right to another year of eligibility, which has kind of set a precedent from guys that with NIL and the ability to make money, if they go to junior college, it used to be counted against you or could be counted against you.
Right.
And so he did that for a season. So he's got Manziel kind of bringing him along. They have same style of play,
Didn't
mobile
he
quarterbacks.
flame out, though? Didn't Manziel flame out?
He flamed out big time.
He and like Ryan Leaf. Because Ryan Leaf, if you follow sports at all, you know that Ryan Leaf, probably one of the biggest flameouts in sports ever, Ryan Leaf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that accurate?
I'd say that.
Do you think that's accurate? Just say yes. Whatever.
I would say whenever you're drafted in the first round to Cleveland as a quarterback, your career is likely already over before it starts. But he self-admittedly in a new documentary, Manziel said he never did himself any favors.
Right. All right. So let's hope that Diego Pavia continues on this path, because watching Vandy beat some of these bigger teams is really great. I love a great underdog story. Absolutely love an underdog story. I don't know what you would call the Titans, who are now 1-6, and Vrabel comes in and beats his former team. I like, though, that Vrabel apparently reached out to the now dispatched Titans coach that just got fired, replaced Vrabel, and Vrabel reached out to Callahan and gave him sort of his condolences and just kind of tried to give him a little pep talk. Very much of a class act, Mike Vrabel. And I think that the fact that the Titans are right now 1-6 and they didn't do well last year as well, I think it shows you that they shouldn't have fired Mike Vrabel.
100%.
They should not have. Amy I couldn't get her to shut up about Mike Vrabel. I mean, she's got a crush on him, so there's that whole thing, too.
The man's 6'5", I get it.
Yeah.
But
yes.
To that point, they played the best first quarter of football all season. And that was that's the one highlight.
And then the Pats made the adjustment, you know, at halftime, and they ended up, what was it, 31-13, something like that?
31-13. And The score's
Yeah.
a little bit worse than what it should be reflecting because Ward did fumble a football directly into the end zone, so that's on him.
Nah, whatever. 5:52, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan Jones has the news.
I love the background.
Coming up at 6, Joan, what do we got?
Yeah, we have the latest on a worldwide internet outage for you this morning. Also, a pedicab driver shoots and kills a passenger over the weekend. We've got the latest on that, too. Stick around for it. And more coming up at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:56, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open at 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Listen to this.
This is an older crowd. There's not a lot of folks, and granted, it's a big crowd here. I'm not good at estimating, but it's definitely over 2,000, maybe close to 3,000. We can't see everyone, but
This is the No Kings rally underway in Boston.
it's an older crowd. A lot of white hair. You see out there Q-tips, as we used to call them in the business.
Wow, Q-tips. They called, this is Channel 10 in Boston, and they are mentioning what a lot of people have been talking about. Joan, you and I were talking about this since these things started, how old these protesters are.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they are just trying to, relive the 60s or what, but I love how Channel 10 in Boston calls it like they see it. These are old people.
People I know who are there. This is an older crowd. There's not a lot of folks, and granted, it's a big crowd here. I'm not good at estimating, but it's definitely over 2,000, maybe close to 3,000. We can't see everyone, but it's an older crowd. A lot of white hair. You see out there Q-tips, as we used to call them in the business, and they're out protesting, and not a lot of young people. And also, again, portraying this I hate America idea that this is what this protest is about, showing people who are boomers and middle-aged out taking time from their day on a Saturday to come and protest and be heard at the nation's oldest public park, Boston Common.
All right, so there you go. I didn't see any of the local No Kings protests. Did you see any of them, Joan? I
Nope.
didn't. I know that we've got some audio that we're going to play coming up from one of them here in Middle Tennessee. Where is this audio from, Sam?
I believe it's from Channel 4, and they're out over, I want to say it was on like the west side of town or something. One of those, hoity-toity neighborhoods where there is no crime or anything to,
Sure. Where the only thing they have to complain about is a non-existent king.
Well, and that they can't put their kids on, cancer drugs to be hormone blockers and stuff like that.
One of the things as you look at what these folks had to say when they were interviewed, and again, we've got some of that audio coming up, is that they don't know or they can't specify why it is that they would say that Donald Trump is a king.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they are, when it comes to the actual issues, they're just clueless. And so we've got some of that audio coming up next. The super text line is open, 615-737-9986. By the way, Joan.
Yes.
Coming up, I think in the 7 o'clock hour, I've got a big treat for you.
Oh, is that right?
I've got a big treat. No, I see, I was very humbled by something that happened over the weekend, and I'm going to share that with folks coming up in the 7 o'clock hour here on Nashville's Morning News. Also coming up, I think the greatest or the worst hits of the No Kings protesters. Great audio is coming up next. Also, while all of these No Kings protesters people were doing what they do, Donald Trump was getting stuff done. We're going to talk about that. The unrest in Israel as well, or I should say in the Middle East. All of that and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is now 6 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Widespread internet outages overnight, taking down popular services, including Snapchat, Fortnite, and Roblox, as Amazon Web Services said that there was an issue that they're working to mitigate now. The Amazon cloud computing company, which is known as AWS, supports wide swaths of the publicly available internet. It issued an early morning series of updates on that issue, so perhaps we will see a resolution of that fully in some measure this morning. In the news, Metro Nashville police are investigating the fatal shooting of a pedicab driver, make that a rider, as self-defense. Channel 4's Braden Ross reports that a group of friends visiting from Memphis caught two pedicabs back to their hotel and they were in the area of the Bridgestone Arena early Saturday morning when a fight broke out.
On the ride, police say the group got into an argument with the drivers about the cost of the ride, which led them to stop and ask the group to get out of the cabs. Police say the group then got into a physical fight with one of the drivers, 21-year-old Christopher Jones. Jones told police one of Rivas Romo's friends punched him in the head, which caused him to pull his gun. He said Rivas Romo came toward him quickly, and that's when he shot him.
Yeah, Rivas Romo did not survive. No charges have been filed against that driver, Christopher Jones, as the investigation continues. A motorcyclist died in a hit and run in Springfield over the weekend. WSMV4's Danielle Ledbetter says that the driver of a white SUV ran a stop sign and hit the 18-year-old motorcycle driver.
Officials say the 18-year-old did not survive. Police say the driver of the SUV got out of the car and ran away after the crash. It didn't take long before Springfield police caught the driver.
This happened just before midnight on Saturday. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Amazon Web Services is working to find the source of an overnight service disruption that appears to have taken down a long list of apps, websites, and online gaming platforms. Down Detector reported 6,000 AWS user complaints at the height of the outage. Stock futures were higher overnight to start a week of major earnings reports. On Friday, the major indexes all saw gains, with the Dow Jones adding 238 points to close at 46,190. The S&P and NASDAQ each rose 0.5%. More Americans are worried about finding gainful employment if they lose their job. Nearly half of adults tell a new poll from the AP they're not very or not at all confident they could find a good job. 2 years ago, that number was about 37%. The top 2026 travel destination in the U.S. isn't Miami, New York City, or San Francisco. A new report from Expedia, Hotels.com, and VRBO names Big Sky, Montana as the most searched vacation spot. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures all pointing up this morning, and that's the latest news. Traffic is coming up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. There we go. The normal volume delays are starting to kick in now on 24 on the westbound side. Also, after the merge of 24 and 65 heading into town from the north. And things are slow as well on 40 as you approach that merge with 24. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
6:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well. Do you know, one of the things that I definitely noticed in watching all of these No Kings protests is a serious lack of self-awareness on the side of the Democrats. I'm going to give you an example. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, by the way, watch us on Super Talk TV. You can find us there on Facebook, 997WTN.com, of course, YouTube as well. And listen to us anywhere. You can find us on, of course, the radio 99.7. But if you're watching on YouTube or wherever, you are going to see a horrifying video of a woman who is almost kind of like doing a moonwalk. And I don't know if you can see that, Joan, but she's doing like a little moonwalk, and she has finger gun up to her neck. In other words, she's mocking the murder, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And this is a vile, reprehensible human being. And so when I say that the Democrats have such an incredible lack of self-awareness, that's what I mean. Like, what kind of a vile person will do that? And so now, of course, people want to know, who is this woman? And that's part of what people are trying to find out or figure out is, who are these people that are doing these horrible things? And when you look at the lack of self-awareness and what these folks really do stand for, you think, okay, so when they're doing this and they just don't care. When I say there's a lack of self-awareness, their behavior at these No Kings rallies were horrifying. And you would think that they would be ashamed, but there's no shame. And that's the amazing thing, is that people like this, they don't see any shame as they are mocking, and this wasn't the only person, but as they are mocking the death of Charlie Kirk. There was a Democrat fundraiser in Michigan, and one of the things that, I mean, it has to be part of the news cycle this morning, but there's a fundraiser in Michigan where you had the gubernatorial candidate there in Michigan, and you also had a woman running for Senate. And you know, they had a big unity dinner and a sign at this unity dinner that said 8647 and MAGA equals Nazis. And this was at an official state function. And so you think about, again, not to belabor the point, but you think about what the Democrats stand for, and this is what they stand for. And, you know, it's interesting when we start looking at the midterm elections. I'm going to pull this photo over. We got picture over here, guys. So look at how proud these people are. Those are Democrats in the state of Michigan. And for people listening on the radio, you've got 4 people standing in front of a big sign. It's like when you walk into a building and there's a big sign or a statue or whatever, and you can get your picture taken in front of it. And you got 4 Democrats, including the chipmunk-looking guy right up front that shouldn't really be really proud of his teeth because they're really coffee and cigarette stained, kind of gross, to be perfectly honest. But they're proud as anything, smiling with that MAGA equals Nazi and 8647 sign as they walk into the quote unity dinner. And my question is this, because I will be the first to admit that the price of goods and services, they're still too high. I would like it to be lower. Donald Trump would like it to be lower as well. But has there been anyone on the Democrat side who has actually come up with any kind of a solution, or is this everything that the Democrats stand for is 8647 and MAGA Nazi? MAGA equals Nazi. This was the Michigan Democrats' idea of unity. And so I don't know if they have any real issues that they have solutions to. Do they have any actual ideas about how to fix the issues of America? Now, part of that conversation is they caused a lot of the issues that we have in America. They are the ones that let in all of these illegal aliens as Donald Trump is trying to clean all the problems up. You know when this was, by the way? This was back on October 11th, a week after Charlie Kirk's murder. And it was in the news over the weekend. And so when you talk about the tone deaf and the lack of self-awareness of the Democrats, I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So in this story about what is going on with the Michigan Democrats, they name a few people who have had similar sentiments, which is 86-47. I don't need to explain what 86-47 means at this point, right? Everybody knows. Joan, everybody knows. 86-47.
Absolutely.
All right. So in this story about what's going on, the Lenawee Democratic chair, a guy by the name of Bill Swift, was all part of this. Getting the sign, 86-47, MAGA equals Nazi. And this guy, believe it or not, this is a Democrat official in the state of Michigan. You know why he got in hot water back in January? Because he called into a radio show and saying that Donald Trump supporters should be executed. Around the same time, the Lenawee County Democrats' social media account also reportedly shared a post that called for the death penalty for Trump's supporters, saying they should be hanged by the neck until dead. This is not the sort of, what would you say, the outskirts, if you will, of the Democrat Party. These are people running for governor and the Senate. These are people that are in charge of the party in Michigan. So then they catch up to this guy Swift, Bill Swift. Here's what he says. He's defending his actions. Fox Digital. Swift defending his actions. We have not advocated for political violence, and any interpretation that we have is false. I'm sorry, but y'all said that Donald Trump supporters should be executed and they should be hanged by the neck until dead. I mean, that's not me talking. I mean, that's Fox News. So that's what I don't really understand is you say that and you're defending your actions, but it seems to me like it's true, unless you're calling Fox News Digital liars, but the internet is forever. He goes on to say, we are fully committed to the traditional patriotic American principles of defending our democratic institutions and our Constitution under threat thanks to Trump and Republicans. We know that President Trump, he says, listen to this. We know that Trump, he says, campaigned on Nazi rhetoric and Nazi ideology and shared Nazi propaganda. We know that Nazi salutes occurred at President Trump's inauguration. We know that President Trump and Republicans and MAGA Americans have continued to embrace this Nazi rhetoric, ideology, and propaganda. Where? What did he, like, I wish somebody would have, I should have done this myself, but I was a little busy this weekend being like recovering, but, you know, walk around these No Kings protests and ask these questions. Do you have any proof that Donald Trump believes he's a king? That's number one, which they don't. And number two, you out here with a Nazi, 86-47 and Nazi equals fascists. Can you tell me exactly what you mean by MAGA equals Nazi? Can you just tell me what all that has in common? Because I guarantee you that they would not be able to tell you why MAGA equals fascist as their sign says, or Nazi. Because I think a number of things are happening. Number one that is happening is you have these people that are being paid, and we talked about this in the 5 o'clock hour. George Soros, big story in the Daily Mail. I'm going to share it again, but big story in the Daily Mail about how they are now connecting the dots between George Soros and a lot of these, organizations that are paying these old people protesters. But the Michigan Democrat Party and the woman running for governor and a woman running for the Senate attending a unity dinner where they have a sign that says MAGA equals Nazi and big, big numbers, 86-47. They go on, by the way, and they say, we have no regrets about taking the photo at the Unity dinner. The principle of the dinner was unity against fascists, not unity with fascists. As such, we eagerly invite and welcome Never Trump Republicans and those former Trump supporters who have come to realize that Americans pay for the MAGA Trump tariffs, that Americans pay for MAGA Trumpflation, and Americans and American communities are victimized and terrorized by Trump MAGA policies. So when you talk about the tariffs and you talk about inflation, okay, well, those are all things that happen, during the course of an administration. But how does that make the Trump administration and MAGA a bunch of Nazis? You think they have any idea? Probably not. They couldn't answer that question because they're not really thinking rationally. Oh, I've got more. I've got a lot more, including a horrifying video of something that happened at one of these No Kings protests over the weekend. It is straight ahead. 6:17. Time to check the roads on WTN.
For the most part, things are looking good this morning. No problems coming in on 40 or 65. No unusual delays on 24 or 440, 840 running accident free. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as your weather goes, fall is here, sunny with a high of 70, getting down to the mid-50s tonight. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. All right, so if you're watching on Super Talk TV, Joan, I don't know if you can see this, but there is a kid with a knife.
Oh.
And he is trying to stab a Donald Trump piñata.
Oh, my goodness.
If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you can see it. And this kid has a mask on, and he's got a knife, and he is trying to stab a Donald Trump piñata. He also has some sort of it looks like a big stick or something, also trying to, that's a hammer. And he's trying to take out the piñata. And so you look at this, and I made this correlation, if you will, on Red Eye Radio, where this is like what they teach kids in Gaza. This is what Hamas and the schools in Gaza teach the kids about Israel and Jewish folks, where the only good Jew is a dead Jew. They're teaching these kids clearly that the only good Trump supporter or the only good Donald Trump is a dead Donald Trump or a dead Donald Trump supporter. I mean, part of me wonders, my God, what do you teach? This is generational. Like this kid who is got a mask on and trying to stab a Donald Trump piñata, you think that kid's going to grow up to be normal? Like, that's my honest, serious question. Super texters, you can chime in. Do you believe that this child that has a knife in his hand, and it's a big knife, that's like a huge blade. I don't know if that's 6 inches, whatever it is, and he's stabbing the. Do you think he's gonna, Joan? Do you think this kid is going to grow up normal, or is he going to grow up so completely filled with hate? And it's generational, right? So this kid is growing up, and he's being taught that it's okay to wish for the death of an American president and his followers. Because you can't tell me that his parents aren't using that kind of vernacular as he is growing up and going to these No Kings protests. So, yeah, that is absolutely horrifying. And over the weekend, what did we find out? We found out that, surprise, there is, I don't know if you saw this, Joan, or if you've got it in your news.
I'm actually doing it at the next newscast. It's the craziest story.
You talk about Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Florida, they found a hunter's, what would you call that? Like a hunter's perch?
A stand, a hunting stand.
A tree stand.
Yeah.
A hunter's tree stand. And it puts whoever is on that tree stand in direct line of sight of Donald Trump as he gets off of Air Force One in Palm Beach.
So when I first heard this story, I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's a nearby field. Somebody really is hunting, But and what I'm going to bring you at 6:30 is the local West Palm Beach television station.
Right.
The report of it. This hunting stand is in the middle of a busy intersection.
It's in the middle of a busy intersection.
Up in a tree, in a busy intersection.
So it's not like conceivable that somebody may have been wanting to hunt and it just happened to be close to this airport.
That's correct.
It is literally in the middle of an intersection.
Yes.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. I
right.
will actually post this YouTube video of this local TV station.
Well, can you send it to me too?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
It's crazy how open this was.
All right. It is 6:22 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Speaking of Jones in the news. Joan, what do you got coming up?
Yeah, so I have that story about the hunting stand and President Trump's plane. Also, a group of lawmakers from Tennessee suing Governor Lee. We'll tell you why coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Metis here talking about my friends at the Glock store. It is October. It's getting to be late October, as a matter of fact. And so time, of course, is flying. Before you know it, the holidays are going to be here. Friends, if you are needing to plan a party for your company, maybe even for yourself, why not throw the party that everyone will be talking about for years to come at the Glock store? That's right. You can have your holiday event at the Glock store. I've been to them, and I can tell you this is a great time. They've got a beautiful party room that can host almost any size party from 10 to 100. And it comes with a dedicated shoot room or rooms, depending on the party size, with personal professional firearm instructors. All of this when you party at the Glock store. And by the way, don't forget to ask about the full auto option. That is a party that they're going to remember for a long time. So here's what you got to do. If you want to have your party, your holiday party, birthday party, bachelor party, bachelorette party at the Glock store, call them 615-682-6565 and ask to speak to the retail manager, or just stop on by to check it out. But that phone number again, 615-682-6565. She can help you plan the perfect party, including catering if you need it. You really should make your party plans right now because they do sell out pretty quickly using the party room at the Glock store. 615-682-6565, 615-682-6565. The Glock store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
I'm Christy O'Brien.
.629, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. All right, so the woman who was mocking the death of Charlie Kirk by having her little finger guns pointing to her neck and doing a little moonwalk, I really like that the Republicans are shaming these folks. And this particular woman apparently is a woman named Lucy, and she is an elementary school teacher.
Isn't that so nice?
Lucy Martinez is a Chicago teacher, an elementary school teacher. And, you know, I wish I could say that I had confidence that the elementary school in the district would fire this woman, but they won't. Because I think that a lot of these folks on the left, they are able to do what they do without any shame or fear of repercussions, because they've been getting away with this kind of thing for a long time. But she has now been doxxed or outed or whatever, and we'll ultimately see what happens. But you know what? In the city of Chicago, I'm sure there's some conservative somewhere, but the question is, will this woman be fired for what she did mocking the shooting of Charlie Kirk? It is 6:30 on WTN.
Good morning. It is 6:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, some Tennessee lawmakers are suing Governor Bill Lee over his deployment of the National Guard in Memphis. The lawsuit alleges the deployment violates both the state constitution and state law.
Let's face it, you cannot enforce the law while simultaneously breaking the law. The two are not aligned. We have to accept the fact that we have a crime problem. We must do everything in our power to reduce violent crime in our communities, but not like this.
Late Friday night, Davidson Judge Patricia Head Moskal denied their request for a preliminary injunction, saying that those lawmakers didn't demonstrate any immediate or irreparable injury, loss, or damage. She has instead scheduled a hearing on that lawsuit on November 3rd. The FBI announcing that a hunting stand was discovered within sight and within a line of sight right to Air Force One's landing zone at Palm Beach County Airport in Florida. Here's reporter Jamilka Gibson from 12 News in Palm Beach.
Secret Service agents found an elevated hunting stand in the direct line of sight of where President Donald Trump exits Air Force One at Palm Beach International Airport.
If I hear a hunting stand, it ain't no deers over here, or it ain't nothing to hunt with. So what you hunting for? And if people is what you hunting for, then this is crazy.
The stand was found Thursday during security preparations for Trump's Friday arrival. According to Fox News, law enforcement sources say it appeared to be set up months ago.
Now, the stand is perched in a tree at a busy intersection near the airport. The FBI has not been able to connect that stand to any one individual, but it is investigating right now. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 6:32. Dan Mandis here on Super Talk. The weather in Middle Tennessee, of course, as you know, can get crazy, and it can get crazy quick, which is why you need a backup home standby generator from my friends at the Generator Supercenter. You can get a free quote and get peace of mind when you have one installed. Now, these folks are the #1 Generac generator dealer in the entire country. The Generator Supercenter does feature expert installation, 24-hour monitoring as well. They're not going to leave you in the dark, and financing is indeed available. 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952. Find them online anytime, GeneratorSupercenterofNashville.com.
Still no big delays this morning if you're traveling into Nashville. You do have a more than normal delay, I would say, on the merge there at 24 and 40 as you're coming in from the Hermitage area this morning or by the airport. That's a little bit slow, pretty slow too at the merge of 65 and 24 coming in from the north. These are all just normal volume delays, however. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.637 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. So, Joan.
Yes.
I'm looking at this tree stand, and if you're watching on YouTube or any of the other outlets, so a couple of things. Number one, this tree stand, which if you're just joining us, Secret Service found a tree stand where it is direct line of sight where Donald Trump gets off of the airplane when he goes to Palm Beach or West Palm Beach, whatever it is. And so, but here's a couple of things that I don't understand. So this is it's like off of a big highway.
Yes.
So how does somebody build a tree stand and nobody notices?
Yeah. It is just the oddest thing ever.
Because you got to, I mean, I've never built the tree stand, but I'm assuming you've got a pickup truck and you got to need a ladder. You got to bring the wood up into the tree and so forth, and wood and nails and all that stuff.
So do you think maybe they were acting, if they had maybe a cherry picker that and disguised themselves as, linemen or something?
I don't know, but the scary thing is, and I think you reported this tree stand, you said has been there a while.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it feels like they dodged a bullet. Now, there might be a very simple explanation for a tree stand, and this is right next to the airport. Like if you're watching on Super Talk TV, it is right next to an airport. It's like you got a chain link fence, and then you've got the runway. And I'm terrible with like how far that is and what have you, but
right,
it is shocking to say the least. And so now you've got FBI head of the FBI, Kash Patel. He is talking about how this is under investigation, and they'll have to figure out what in the world happened. But I got to tell you, with all of the No Kings protests over the weekend, and all of these, we talked about the Democrat officials in Michigan who had a big sign at their official function, said 8647, MAGA equals Nazis. And it's a wonder that we don't see more of what we saw with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We've already got, 2 assassination attempts against Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And so they want to see you. It's clear. That's why I said on Red Eye Radio, the Democrats are a death cult. Democrats are a death cult.
Also, what you predicted would happen on Red Eye Radio overnight, because I was listening, the big headline on Fox News of all places, President Trump boards Air Force One quickly using small stairs due to increased security measures. Now, they're not doing it in a mocking way,
right,
of course, but
I guarantee you MSNBC is.
NBC.
Oh, he's having to use the short steps like Joe Biden did. Yeah, it's because you people keep calling him a Nazi, and you're going to trigger the unwell.
Well, okay. So I get it now. I'm not seeing that on MSNBC, and I can tell you why. Because they don't want to admit they're not even doing the story that there was a hunting stand found.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's not a story.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, it is here. It is here.
Is it?
I will take my comments back.
Fake news.
Fake news, Joan.
Fake news, Joan. Hey, you want to hear something fun?
Yeah.
So this is, and then I'm going to do something meaningful, I promise. But this is a No Kings protest. I'm not entirely certain where it is, but dude walks in and he's got a shirt on that says For Charlie. That's all he's got is a shirt that says For Charlie. You've got some woman who has a Viva Antifa sign. Does Viva mean love?
No.
Sam, what does Viva mean?
It means life.
Life?
Yes.
Viva? So if somebody says Viva Antifa, what does that mean?
Live long.
Okay, so this woman has a Viva Antifa sign, which apparently means live long Antifa. So one guy, and we all know what Antifa stands for. We all know what Antifa does. Listen to this.
With a shirt that says For Charlie.
Because I advocate for free speech. And
Okay, if you advocate for free speech, wear a shirt that says free speech. Wear a shirt that says promote free debate. Free press.
Well, you get triggered because it has Charlie on there, right?
Because he was a racist. Because he was a misogynist. And that means that you are too. Because you support him. Get out!
Oh, my. That's the very definition of triggered.
Well, she's a redhead.
Yeah,
I'm
but is she
kidding to all
natural?
you redheads out there.
Is she a natural redhead? That's
She does look like she's a natural redhead. She also looks like she's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
Let me play that again real quick.
Misogynist, and that means that you are too. Because you support him. Get out! Get out of here!
He hated people. Yeah, just
He hated
calm it
anyone
down.
that wasn't white,
Calm
that
it
wasn't
down.
male, that wasn't straight.
So this woman says that Charlie Kirk hated anyone that wasn't male, wasn't white, and what was the last one? Wasn't male,
Straight.
wasn't right, and wasn't straight. And so the guy who wades into this situation, and by the way, I love that he did. Nathan Hughes is his name, I guess, and he's laughing. He's laughing because honestly, it is funny how these folks are so incredibly triggered, and if they can't handle somebody literally simply wearing a T-shirt while Donald Trump is out getting stuff done, then, I mean, personally, I do believe that it is kind of funny. That's why I'm not, like, I don't know about you, Joan, but I'm not getting angry at this stuff anymore. I'm a little bemused. The story about the kid, and somebody asked, how old is the kid that was stabbing the effigy of Donald Trump or the piñata, whatever you want to call it?
With a big honking knife.
With a big knife? I think that kid was probably about 10, 11, 12. He looked a little bit like Riker's age. And no, I don't believe that kid will grow up in a normal household. And I do believe that is, I'm not going to say it's child abuse. I'm not going to say that, but you're not doing your kid any good by teaching them that level of hate for people that you have no idea who Donald Trump supporters are. You have no idea who Donald Trump is. And for your kid, you are teaching them to hate as opposed to love. And if you're Democrats, aren't you supposed to be? And I know that this is, we've all said this, but as Democrats, they've always sort of branded themselves as the party of tolerance and love and all that BS. And clearly, that is not the case. It is 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. .45, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. As far as your weather goes, it's going to be a nice day today. I don't know. Is today like the official, unofficial day of fall? Because it's going to be sunny, a high of only 70, getting down into the mid-50s tonight. So it's getting to like sweater weather, and I couldn't be happier. All right. Donald Trump gave an interview on Air Force One last night, and here's part of what he said. It looks like, and remember, while you got all of these No Kings protests going on across the country, Donald Trump is getting stuff done.
Let me just tell you that there'll be no money given toward their crazy escalation of giving money to illegal aliens that came into the country totally illegally. I mean,
He's talking about California and Illinois.
They came in illegally. They want to spend 1.5 trillion with a T, trillion dollars, giving it to people that came into the country illegally. They shouldn't have come in. In fact, one of the reasons they came in was to get this money. And California is a big culprit. I mean, California, they're out of control. And we're not going to pay California all of that money that they're giving away illegally. And that's another thing. Between California and Colombia, there's not that much difference. We're not going to be making those payments.
Yeah, he's talking about not Columbia, Tennessee, but the nation of Colombia. You know, where all that cocaine comes from. We're talking about that Friday. I think we're talking about that. And so the president now, this is part of the news cycle this morning, the president basically putting California on notice and saying, no, you know what? California is not going to get money because California is spending billions, if not over $1 trillion on illegal aliens. So let's talk about California. He has now announced that he will be giving $0 federal dollars for any program that helps illegal aliens in the state of California. Now, this means that Medi-Cal, and by the way, if you've never been in California, Medi-Cal is like the state-run healthcare system in California. And illegal aliens can get healthcare in California on Medi-Cal. And some of that money, and I don't exactly know how it works, but some of that money, a lot of that money is reimbursed from the federal government to the state of California. And so Trump is saying, no, you know what? We're not going to reimburse the state of California if they are giving illegal aliens medical benefits. We're just not. And so part of what Trump is saying is, listen, if we want to put the American people first, then we can't give billions of dollars to California.
Well, we want to have great health care, so we'll do whatever we can do to have great health care. But the Democrats want to destroy all health care because they want to give $1.5 trillion of this money, and they want additional money to go to people that came into our country illegally. Many of them are from prisons and mental institutions, and we're not going to destroy our health care for the Democrats.
Yeah, and the president is, of course, right. Now, part of what he is trying to do, as you all know, is he's trying to fight waste, fraud, and abuse, not only in California, but across the country, trying to impose work requirements. That's all part of the government shutdown that we've all been talking about incessantly. But think about California. Think about all of the stories that I have covered from the People's Republic of California, right? You've got the issue with the truck drivers. California has all these truck driving schools that are effectively giving illegal aliens driver's licenses, and you've got the facilitation of truck driving schools as well so that they will get their commercial driver's licenses. So now you've got, and we've covered all of these, you've got all of these high profile accidents, including, you know, big rigs and these guys who can't speak English, clearly can't drive, can't read, and they are behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler. And Americans have been killed because these dudes just can't drive. And so we're pulling millions of dollars. The Trump administration is pulling millions of dollars, federal funds that typically goes to the states through various programs. And we're saying, no, if you are giving and facilitating illegal alien truck drivers, CDLs and so forth, then you're not going to get federal funds. Donald Trump also pulled education grants because California continues to allow men to play on women's sports teams. You've got the high-speed rail project, billions of dollars in federal grants that have been wasted. Listen to this. Can you imagine if this happened in Tennessee? High-speed rail project in California, billions of dollars spent, disappeared over the last 10 years, wasted. Very little accomplished. It's the Central Valley Rail Line, and it runs between Merced, California, and Bakersfield, and it is just an absolute mess. And so, yeah, Trump is saying, why in the world should we give this money to the state of California when the taxpayer dollars at the federal level, if you give it to California, is not being put to good use and doesn't really personify what the American people voted for when they voted for Donald Trump. Here's what he said about California with Maria Bartiromo over the weekend.
But the governor, who got thrown out of his business by his family because he's a dope.
That That's JB Pritzker, and he's going to talk about Gavin Newsom, too.
But the governor, Pritzker, he doesn't want us in. You know, if I were him, if I were a Democrat and I were him, I'd say, come on in. What do you have to lose?
And you're going to go to San Francisco next.
We're going to go to San Francisco. The difference is I think they want us in San Francisco. San Francisco was truly one of the great cities of the world. And then 15 years ago, it went wrong. It went woke. Remember my statement? Anything woke is, and then I used a filthy, well, broke is another word. I used a filthy word, but I didn't. No. I took enough heat on that. I won't say it again, but it's true. I mean, nothing changes, right? But we're going to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. If illegal immigration was a major issue in the 2024 election, and it was, and it helped propel Trump to the top, then how in the world is he expected to defend his practices as governor of California? So think about it. You've got Trump, illegal immigration, hardcore against it. Gavin Newsom was for it. Trump was propelled into the White House as an anti-illegal immigration stance. Gavin Newsom is all about it. So there's no way if Gavin Newsom ran for president, I don't believe that his stance on illegal immigration, I don't think that he would win the election just based on that. Same with Kamala Harris. And now, by the way, we talked about this on Friday, Joan. Now in California, they're paying the rent of illegal aliens who are too afraid, they say, to go outside because of ICE. It is just dumb.
It won't be great.
Nope. No, it won't be great, Donald Trump. It is 6:53 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And Joan's got the news coming up at 6:53. Joan, what do you got?
Yeah, why some of the things that you visit on the internet are down this morning. And we'll tell you about that huge, massive break-in at the Louvre Museum in France. And the items that were taken by these thieves. It's a pretty crazy story. We've got that coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here. You can skip the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home quickly with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. No showings, no open houses, and no stress. Now, I always recommend Mark Spain Real Estate here in Nashville, my friends and family, because I can trust that Mark Spain Real Estate is going to sell your home with a strong all-cash offer. As a matter of fact, with Mark Spain Real Estate, they are the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. They've got over 13,000 five-star reviews. You could trust my friends to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Now, they've been helping homeowners sell their homes for nearly 30 years, and they've helped over, listen to this, 72,000 satisfied clients. 855-299-SOLD. Find them online anytime. It is markspain.com. And this is a company that I believe in, and they're going to help you sell your home. You can move when you want to move. Again, call them 855-299-SOLD. markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Land Story Law Firm, 615-733-8168.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision. It should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You know, Joan, it's interesting. The folks on the Super Text line say that tree stand,
yes,
maybe it's for photographers. But here's the thing. The fact that it's there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the point. I don't know who built it, and I don't know for what. But the fact that it's there, and the Secret Service didn't see it,
and they didn't know about it for months,
and it's been there for a long time, and it's in a heavily traveled area. That's the whole point.
It's a bizarre story.
And other people are saying, Dan, fall started a month ago. I know fall started a month ago. It feels like fall weather now. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. Don't listen to him, Dan.
All the nitpickers are out this morning, Joan.
They still love you, Dan. It's just
Quit picking my nits.
when they pick your nits, they feel especially good about themselves.
All right, 6:56 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. Dan Mann is here for Loan Pronto. What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate by 4.99% APR? Now, right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. Now, with Loan Pronto's rapid equity loans, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. You can pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments up front. Now, one client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life change. Now, there's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Now, rates right now are at a 3-year low. So act right now by calling 615-499-5780. 615-499-5780. Find them online. It is loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. On approved credit, visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Well, hello there. It is 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And if you are trying to do just about anything online this morning, You may get an error message. Thousands of websites and services that rely on Amazon Web Services, cloud computing, are down. Amazon saying it's dealing with an operational issue that affects its center in Northern Virginia. Now, some of the companies impacted include Prime Video, the Digital Ring doorbell service, media organizations like Disney and the New York Times, and even Roblox and Fortnite online are down this morning. The social media networks, including Snapchat, are down. However, X is not affected. Thieves hit France's Louvre Museum over the weekend, and now the planned reopening for today was delayed. Officials there say that several people disguised as construction workers broke into the world-famous museum in Paris early Sunday morning in a major theft of centuries-old jewels on display.
The heist in broad daylight took only 7 minutes. Officials say just before the museum was set to open, 4 men disguised as construction workers gained access, 2 of them using power tools to cut into the Apollo Gallery, where Napoleon III's crown jewels were on display.
That's ABC's Allison Kosick. Now, they took 8 pieces. That includes a set of sapphire and emerald necklaces and earrings, elaborate diamond brooches, 2 diadems, and Napoleon's wife, her name was Empress Eugenie, her diamond-encrusted gold crown. It's about 200 years old. But prosecutors say it looks like they fumbled that on their way out the door. It was damaged and left behind as the thieves made their getaway on scooters. The federal program that provides help for low-income families to buy food is at risk. Here's Channel 4's Amanda Hara.
On October 10th, the Department of Ag sent letters to state agencies telling them not to send off files that would clear the way for EBT cards to be loaded for November. Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins announced last week the food stamp program will run out of money in 2 weeks.
About 40 million people living in the U.S. rely on SNAP benefits. Tragedy on Kentucky Lake in Wayne County this weekend after a 37-year-old man from Arkansas died. The Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency reports Matthew Hubble was ejected from his boat while out with friends Friday afternoon. He was rescued from the water, but efforts to resuscitate him failed. Officials say this is the 23rd boating-related fatality in Tennessee this year. Hubble was not wearing a personal flotation device. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. And we're looking at stock futures pointing up. Dow futures plus 90, NASDAQ futures gaining 91. We've got S&P futures plus 20 points. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Looks like all normal volume this morning. 24 jammed up in the westbound side from Smyrna up to Nashville. You've got delays on 40 as well, starting well before the airport. And then traveling in from the north, looks like the normal volume delays on 24 and 65 approaching that merge area. And 65 northbound through Brentwood is pretty slow this morning as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.706 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on into Nashville's Morning News and good morning to you. This headline, and I don't know, there are times when I just feel like, and Joan, this is going to sound a little braggadocious.
Uh-huh.
But there are times when I just feel like talk radio is so far ahead of the curve. Listen to this headline. There's a big story in the Daily Mail over the weekend. Insiders reveal dark web of power behind earthquake of No Kings protests exploding across America. They're talking about George Soros funding all this. Like, we've known this forever.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Joan. When you were in Washington, D.C., did everybody know that George Soros was, funding this stuff and all that? It's been, I think, in the last couple of years that he has come into more prominence, and people have figured out that he has been quietly, as they say, bankrolling these key organizations.
Well, that was considered suspect information. It wasn't clear that there was a direct line to George Soros. And if you said that, then you were believing in conspiracy theories and,
Oh, look, another conspiracy theory that appears to be real.
Mm-hmm.
Reports that George Soros has quietly bankrolled key organizers for years has sent shockwaves through Washington and set the stage for a political collision between the Trump administration and the nonprofit world.
You know why they're saying that now? Because the Trump administration is doing the connect the dots. They're working now to find and trace the money. Just follow the money trail.
Right.
And now that they're doing it, now the media is saying, oh, guess what? We think it might just be George Soros because they're about to get busted.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing is that Trump has been saying this for a long time. Bill O'Reilly, remember a couple of weeks ago, I interviewed Bill O'Reilly. He's been going on about George Soros for years. And so I think you're right. I think that what has shocked people is that the DOJ is actually willing to go after George Soros. And Donald Trump is actually willing to go after George Soros. They say at the center of the storm is the Open Society Foundation, Soros's $32 billion philanthropic juggernaut. Now, records show that OSF, Open Society Foundation, has funneled $7.6 million in grants to Indivisible. Now, this is one of three major progressive coalitions behind what we saw over the weekend, the No Kings protests. They make up a sizable chunk of the group's roughly $12 million in revenue each and every year. Now, I will tell you that and I've done several interviews on this over the years, and most people will tell you that Soros has so many lawyers that are around him that there's no way that you are going to be able to penetrate that money all the way to George Soros. Because when the Daily Mail says that there is a dark web, I mean, it is a web of, this money goes from the Open Society Foundation to another organization, and that filters down into another organization. Then it goes to a nonprofit, and finally it makes it down into the street. But the bottom line is that Soros is very protected. So now the question is, how do you trace that money? Well, we know that Scott Bessent and the FBI and other people within the Trump administration, Pam Bondi, they're all doing whatever it is that they can to try and trace this money back to George Soros. Ted Cruz is another one.
Look, I think you're right. I think he is scared for his political life. And the Democrats today are a party of radical interest groups. Now, I will say one of the most important things President Trump has done recently is he has pledged that he's going to go after Antifa. And what I've been urging is follow the money, cut off the money.
Yep.
And you look at this No Kings rally, and there's considerable evidence that George Soros and his network is behind funding these rallies, which may well be riots all across the country. And Soros is writing the check. And so I've introduced legislation called the Stop Funders Act that would add rioting to the list of predicate offenses for RICO. Why is that? Because it would let the Department of Justice use RICO, racketeering, to prosecute the money that is funding the anti-Semitic protests on campuses, the pro-open border protest in L.A. and other cities, and these No King protests. Anyone that is supporting rioting and violence, it lets you go after the money.
Love it. I mean, I do. I love it. Question is, how deep can you get into the Soros Foundation? But there's a lot of, when Ted Cruz is talking about the money, there's a lot of money. Like these donations, including, they say, a $3 million grant in 2023 were issued through the Open Society Action Fund to support, and this is a quote, to support the grantee's social welfare activities, disclosures show. Matthew Palumbo, author of a forthcoming book about Soros' son and successor, Alex, telling the Daily Mail that Soros funds were still flowing to questionable causes. In other words, part of what's going on is the people within the orbit of George Soros, they know that Trump is coming after them, but they also know that they are protected because of those, as Bill O'Reilly said, those 80 or so attorneys. And so they're just continuing to do it. They don't care. They say in total, and by the way, the other thing that could happen is even if the DOJ is able to follow the money and follow it back to Soros and so forth, that thing's going to be tied up in court for so long. And then eventually the Democrats will be able to, if they ever end up getting power again, and their behavior this weekend, who knows, but the Democrats hope to be able to get power and just drop all of those investigations. But in total, the Open Society Foundation has awarded nearly $8 million to this indivisible project from 2017 to 2023. And this indivisible project, what it does, it goes into more local organizations. And then they're, paying for, bricks and signs and bail and lawyers, supplies, all of that stuff. I mean, I've read other articles where the money just funnels really down to the hyper-local level to buy those supplies and to bail people out. They also will pay for lawyers, and we talked about this, to go out there and tell people how to do what they do without getting arrested. Here's more from Ted Cruz.
And I'll tell you, there are more than 200 left-wing groups behind these No Kings rallies this weekend. They deliberately are blind to what each of the others are doing. That's part of how they avoid accountability. RICO is designed for precisely that sort of criminal enterprise. And so I believe the Senate, we ought to take up and vote on and pass our Stop Funders legislation. And I've urged both Pam Bondi at DOJ and Kash Patel at FBI, follow the money and prosecute those who are writing checks funding acts of violence, political violence or otherwise, across the country.
No, so there's Ted Cruz. And obviously, I agree. Now, if you want to check out the Daily Mail article, you can. It is on my X feed. Follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show. It does describe a dark, tangled web of, it's like DC insiders, Democrats, nonprofit groups, and millions of dollars being funneled through various organizations. It's like money laundering is what it seems like. By the way, there's another organization, we've talked about these folks as well, the Capital Research Center, which also accuses Soros of dropping, isn't like $80 million, dropping $80 million to Antifa over the last several years. And so I think the big question is, can the Department of Justice, can Pam Bondi, can, Scott Bessent with Treasury and Kash Patel with FBI, can they get down into that level, into the granular, where they can figure out exactly where that money is coming from? It is 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, fall is, of course, here weather-wise. Sunny with a high of 70, getting down to the mid-50s tonight. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, I've been talking off and on all morning long, of course, about the No Kings protest over the weekend. And I think part of the reason why it's important to draw attention to this stuff is because, on the one hand, it is a little hard to take them seriously because they're behaving so badly. Need some audio, video. But then you have guys like this.
You gotta grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on this fascist system.
We gotta pull the guns on this fascist system, is what this guy is saying.
These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out.
These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out. And the jackholes on the left are like, oh, we don't know why it is that you don't want your guys to wear masks. Well, ICE wants to wear masks because people like this are calling for them to be shot. And you have people in Congress and in important positions in the Democrat Party that are all about it.
The state machinery, that's a full display right there, has to get wiped out.
So he's I'm telling you, he's pointing to ICE and he's saying that whole machinery has to get wiped out. So he is literally calling for law enforcement or ICE to get shot. And so now you have, of course, Republicans, as they should, wanting this guy to be investigated. And I think we ran audio of a teacher earlier who was mocking Charlie Kirk being shot. And some people are telling me that that teacher in Chicago, an elementary school teacher, has actually now been fired this morning. I don't know if that's true or not, but some of the behavior is clearly, and I mean clearly, abhorrent. By the way, Joan, you want to have some fun with audio from Robert De Niro?
Oh, yeah. Do you have the dump button handy?
You know what? Hey, Sam, make sure the trainee in there, RJ, is it RJ? RJ knows how to use the dump button. Because this is Robert De Niro, and he is calling out Donald Trump. And you know what the thing is? Here, this is so predictable, right? So this is on MSNBC, and it's No Kings Weekend. So, of course, they're going to call in Robert De Niro, of course, to come out and start throwing down, some of the most gosh-awful things. And, the more that you hear what Robert De Niro has to say, the more you realize that Robert De Niro is absolutely crazy. And, one of the things as you listen to him, you think, does anybody really, and I'd be interested to know what you think, Joan. Do you think people really take Robert De Niro seriously anymore? Like, he is so riddled with that Trump derangement syndrome. Because I don't know if people take him seriously. But this is what he said on MSNBC, and this was over the weekend.
Trying to signal to the people they reach, and I'm certainly not reaching those people on this program, but maybe through little sound bites and this and that, and the internet and so on. They're trying to they're used to seeing Trump do his stuff, and they talk and they listen, and that's the truth to them because they don't listen to anything else somewhere way out in the Midwest, somewhere out in the out west, in certain places, the rural places.
You hear what he said? So basically what Robert De Niro is saying is that, the Trump supporters that live in the Midwest and, out west somewhere, he's talking about, Montana, whatever. But, people in the rural areas. And he refuses to, does he know that Donald Trump won all of those battleground states? Does he understand that?
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. The rednecks are not on his...
He thinks that the only people that voted for Donald Trump were a bunch of rednecks.
Right.
And personally, I find that insulting. I wouldn't mind being a redneck, but I don't think that I am.
But we're still in the flyover zone. Like, we're not on the coast.
Yeah.
On either coast. And that's all they consider anyway. The people who live on the coast only believe the coast have any consequence.
Yeah, he's kind of like writing those people off.
Yeah.
Like, those people are irredeemable.
They are irredeemable.
They are irredeemable, is what Robert De Niro is saying.
That's the truth, because he gets the airtime, and I think that we need more airtime, just more push against, and not. I wish that
I'm wondering if he's stoned.
He does kind of sound it, doesn't he?
Oh, he's not making any sense.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, he says, we as in the Democrats, we need more airtime. It's like, dude, you've got not one, but two networks in CNN and MSNBC that are basically focused on everything anti-Donald Trump. So I don't know what he means. Then, of course, you could roll in the mainstream media in there as well with ABC, CBS, and NBC. So I don't really know what he means when he says that our side, his side, needs more media attention.
You can't do this in some ways, but that the news media could find ways to kind of ignore or tamp down nonsense from Trump. It's just total nonsense. But
what is nonsense? Like what? See, this is what drives me nuts about people like Robert De Niro is they talk in such generalities that they're nothing but talking points. And he's saying, well, the news media needs to tamp down what Donald Trump says. Really? Because it seems to me like the news media is always taking Donald Trump's words and slanting it into something negative. And everything Donald Trump does for the news media, everything Donald Trump does is negative, according to the news media and people like Robert De Niro.
Those people out there listen to it and assume if it can be on the air and it's out there, it's the truth.
Those people listen to it. Good Lord. This is a guy who is so, what's the right way to put this? This is a guy that feels like he is so above everyone else. And the people that he is referring to, he believes that they are beneath him. And he's talking about Donald Trump supporters and, basically majority of Americans, according to the last election, that actually voted for Donald Trump. It is really interesting. But, wait, there's more from Robert De Niro, and it is all straight ahead. The Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. 7:23, Joan's got the news coming up. Joan.
Yeah, thousands of websites are still down this morning, affected by Amazon Web Services and outage there. We've got an update for you. Also, a traveling display in this area is about to depart. We'll tell you how to catch it before it's gone. Those stories at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mendes here. It is spooky season, but don't be tricked. Let the home experts at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling treat your family right. We're not going to ghost you. Join the Beehive Club for free. Just carve a pumpkin of Buzz the Bee, post it on social media, and tag Busy Bee. That's all you got to do. Show off your carving skills and get rewarded. If you need HVAC service, upgrade your thermostat and get a free dryer vent cleaning. Choose from our Honeywell Basic or Go Pro with Wi-Fi control with Busy Bee. Plumbing problems? They'll flush your water heater for free with any plumbing repair. That is a treat for your pipes. Time for a new HVAC system. We've got a scary good deal at Busy Bee. A free 10-year parts and 5-year labor warranty. That is, my friends, a $750 value, complete with any system install. Don't let your home be haunted. Call Busy Bee today, where service is sweet and savings are scary good. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call them 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com. Dan Mandis here, and guys, if you can feel your energy slipping away, you could have low testosterone. My friends at Synergen X and Low T Center, they can help you. Reach out and take a quick and simple T-test and get back on track with pharmaceutical-grade testosterone. Now, some of these other places, they compound their testosterone, so you don't even know what it is that you're getting or if it's going to even work. Now, Synergen X and Low T Center, they have helped guys at work, the gym, and love. What can they do for you? Find out with a quick trip to the clinic. Find them online, trtmvp.com. The best you is waiting. Guys who have taken TRT say it has completely changed their lives for the better, and you can too. Now, you can get treated at home or at one of their many clinics around town. You can choose, but when it comes to where you go to feel like you again, you've got to go to the MVPs of TRT, Synergen X and Low T Center. Find them online, trtmvp.com, trtmvp.com. Hey, Joan, Mario has the comment of the day.
Okay, what is it?
Hey, Dan, your deer stand knowledge is proof you're not a redneck. You ever been in a deer stand, Joan?
I have not, no. My next door neighbor
neither
has
have
one.
I.
Mhm.
And I mean, it sounds like fun, I guess. I'm not a hunter, but people that I know love to spend a lot of time at deer stands. That's cool, but yeah, I'm not a redneck, and there's nothing wrong with being a redneck. I'm there anything. I don't consider myself. Sam, am I a redneck? No. All right, very good. Nobody's saying I'm a redneck.
I don't think you're a redneck. No.
No.
And
No. You know what? I
being a
need to.
redneck is okay.
Can we be honest, Joan? I need to be more rednecky.
I agree with that.
Do you?
I do.
Okay. What does one do to become a redneck? Go in a deer stand.
Go in a deer stand.
That's what I need. I need to find a deer
and
stand.
drink light beer at 4:30 in the morning while you wait for the deer to cross in front of you.
That's exactly what I need to do.
It's figuring out how to get the 6-pack or maybe 12-pack
Sure.
into the deer stand with you that makes you a good redneck.
It's cute that you think they're going up in the stand with it and not having it before they go up there.
Oh, okay.
See, Joan?
I mean, you're up there for a long period of time, right? Just kind of looking.
You see, I wouldn't drink a lot because then I have to go to the bathroom in the woods. Nobody wants that. 7:30 on WTN.
Good morning. It is 7:31, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. So if you're trying to do something online this morning, but you only get an error message, there's a reason for that. Amazon's cloud computing services were down this morning. It is still affecting some companies around the world that rely on them.
At the height of the outage, the online tracker Down Detector received 6,000 user reports of issues, primarily in the eastern U.S. Among the products affected are Snapchat, Amazon Alexa, Roblox, and the Bank of Scotland. As of 4 a.m., the outage reports had begun to decline, and AWS said it had traced the problem to a facility in Virginia.
And ABC's Jim Ryan there. Amazon says it is mitigating the problem. It should have everyone back online soon. I can tell you that finally this morning, Ring doorbell camera services are back online as well. A Clarksville road shut down for 2 hours overnight after a high-speed chase involving Tennessee Highway Patrol ended with a crash. WSMV4's Danielle Ledbetter.
It all started at the intersection of Tinytown Road and Peters Mill Road after a black Audi being chased by a THP crashed into several other cars. The suspect was hurt and flown to a Nashville hospital.
No, we don't have an ID on that suspect just yet. This is the last day to see the replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. It's called the Moving Wall. It's at the Stewart County Community Park. The wall, which is a replica of the original Vietnam Veterans Memorial on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., has been traveling the nation since 1984. It is open to the public, and there is no charge to visit. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. Apparently, Joan, and we'll talk about this a little bit coming back. Apparently, I have actually, the people that listen really closely have picked up signs that I may be a redneck in progress.
Oh, well, there's some good news for you.
That's right. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Signs that Mandis might actually be on his way to becoming redneck 12 years after coming to Middle Tennessee coming up. Also, by the way, it was a rough weekend in the Middle East. We'll talk about the latest with Hamas and Israel coming up as well here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. Listen, the holidays are coming up, folks. And if you want to slim down for the holidays, if you're going to see family and friends for the first time in a long time, and you want to just look your best, call my friends at Contours right now. They want to help. They want to help you. With a belly buster special, only $99 for the first 10 callers if you call right now. That phone number is 615-236-9960. First 10 callers get that belly buster special for $99. Now, what is a belly buster special? Well, most folks lose a couple of inches across the middle. It's red light technology. Now, if you don't know what red light technology is, I'm just going to tell you, Google it. It is all the rage. It is incredibly unique. It is effective. And it is available to you right now for $99 when you call this phone number right now, 615-236-9960 for Contours. You want to check them out online, you can, ContoursLLC.com. ContoursLLC.com. You can find out all about this cutting-edge red light technology. 615-236-9960 for Contours. All you've got to lose is inches.
This report is sponsored.
I'll take this one. So we've got an accident this morning, 24 eastbound side at before Whites Creek Pike. This is in Jolton, and it's involving some injuries there. That's at exit 35. You've got normal volume delays, although they are pretty serious now on 24 westbound and on 40 heading in. Also at the merge of 24 and 65, things are pretty slow as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:39, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Happy Monday to you, my friends. You know, it is interesting. Oh, by the way, real quickly, we're joking about, how Joan, you and I have both accepted the fact that we're not rednecks, and that's okay.
But working on it.
We're working on it. So a couple of people said, Mandis, you live with holes in your bathtub, which is true. So that is a sign of being a redneck. And, of course, I do have the inflatables, which somehow survived the big windstorm over the weekend. And so I've got my inflatables as well. And people are, talking about.
I see that you've thrown me under the bus.
Well, I did, because you were the one that said something about, rednecks being stupid. And I'm like, that wasn't me.
I did not say stupid.
That's what I heard. That's what the super texter said, too.
3879. So, Dan, why do rednecks need to be stupid?
I never said that.
Like drinking while hunting. That's what city folks do because they think it's fun. We like to have a cold beer after we hunt. When you can field dress your game before you even have breakfast, you may start to qualify as a redneck. All right, I may have said that finding a way to lift the 6-pack or 12-pack of beer up into the hunting stand is an art.
Pretty sure that's what you said, Joan. Yep, that's right.
But you threw me under the bus. Like a man just takes it and says, "I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have gone there." And you don't throw your co-host, your
actually,
news chick under the bus.
Actually, I think that I do. Hey, by the way, coming up, Joan, somebody wrote us a song.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And it's actually really good. So I'm going to play that coming up before the top of the hour. But it has indeed need some video, gents. It's been a rough weekend in the Middle East. Now, if you were paying attention to what is going on in the Middle East, there were some skirmishes between Hamas and Israel. This was from Fox News.
A military official telling Fox News that Hamas violated the ceasefire agreement, launching an RPG and a sniper attack against Israeli forces inside Gaza. In response, the Israeli military bombed targets in the southern and northern parts of the enclave. This military official telling Fox this is a bold violation of the ceasefire. Remember, the Israelis are still in control of 53% of Gaza. They have remained on high alert over concerns that Hamas might violate the agreement, and they built out a series of preparations for this very possibility.
Well, yeah, it's a possibility because everybody knows that Hamas is going to be a problem. So is there anybody within the sound of my voice that is shocked that Hamas is not following through on the ceasefire? So things not necessarily going real well. So Hamas fires at Israel. Israel fires back. Israel, of course, seems to be holding up their end of the deal, but Hamas just isn't. Now, remember last week we had Hamas lining up people they thought were helping the Israelis and just shot them in cold blood, lined them up on the street, big crowd around, and just put bullets in their head. And so now what we have is what some would call a brewing civil war in the region among terrorist organizations because of that power vacuum that is going on in Gaza. Now, part of the problem that Israel has is that Hamas is very, unpredictable. You know, they are predictably unpredictable is the way that I would say it. So when you've got Hamas and they don't have any living hostages, they still have the remains of a bunch of hostages, but no living hostages. And so President Trump, he was asked a few things about the skirmish over the weekend. One of the big things that he was asked was, is the ceasefire still going on? Because remember where we started from. You had Hamas firing at Israel, Israel fighting back. Does this mean that the ceasefire is over?
We want to make sure that it's going to be very peaceful with Hamas. And as you know, they've been quite rambunctious. They've been doing...
I love how the president says that they've been rambunctious. President Trump, if by rambunctious you mean lining people in the street and shooting them in the head, if that's what you mean by rambunctious, okay, that's what they're doing.
Some shooting, and we think maybe the leadership isn't involved in that, some rebels within, but either way, it's going to be handled properly. It's going to be handled toughly, but properly.
Is the ceasefire still in place?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
All right, so President Trump saying, yes, the ceasefire is still in place. And, remember that nobody said that this ceasefire would be easy and that if Hamas does continue down this road, they're going to be in big trouble. And so will the people of Gaza, by the way, but it'll be on Hamas and it's going to be their fault. Remember, we are still in phase 1. And so we're going to talk about what is next in the situation between Hamas and Israel and frankly, Hamas and the rest of the world. That is coming up next. It is 7:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, it's going to be nice today, sunny with a high of 70 degrees, getting down into the mid-50s tonight. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. I think there's a lot of people that are hoping that peace in the Middle East actually fails, because this was something that Trump is getting a lot of accolades for. But you know what the thing is? The thing is that even if they end up fighting once again, even if Israel and Hamas begin fighting once again, Trump was able to get those hostages released. And if Hamas can't behave themselves, if they continue to be, as Donald Trump said, rambunctious, well, then Israel's going to do what Israel's going to have to do. And let the chips, fall as they may. But if things go down, it's going to be on Hamas. This is their fault. We are still in phase one. Hamas hasn't actually completed everything on their list of responsibilities in phase one. They still haven't released all of the bodies of the hostages. They have not relinquished power. And at some point, they're supposed to lay down their weapons. Now we have this from the State Department. Hamas is preparing for an imminent attack on their own people. Now, this will be, they say, a direct and grave break of the peace deal. So Hamas apparently is going to start killing the people of Gaza. Now, the article said that they have now informed, the Trump administration has now informed fellow mediating countries, Qatar, Turkey, and Egypt, of a credible report indicating an imminent ceasefire violation by Hamas against the people of Gaza. You know, I thought it was interesting. First of all, they say this planned attack against the Palestinian civilians would constitute a direct and grave violation of the ceasefire agreement and undermine the significant progress achieved through mediation efforts. But you know what's interesting? What's interesting is that, you have all of these, people that were screaming about, ceasefire now. And now that there's a ceasefire, nobody is giving Donald Trump his due props. That's number one. But number two, Bill Maher had a great point on his show over the weekend. Listen to this.
Have you noticed that now that Hamas has taken over again, they're, what?
Shooting everybody.
Shooting everybody. Where are the protesters? Suddenly, the keffiyeh-wearing college kids are very
can't be found. Yeah, can't be found anywhere.
This is okay. It's just amazing, the asymmetry of what goes on.
It is crazy. Think about it. So you had Israel, because you got to follow the bouncing ball. You had Israel trying to wipe out Hamas. They were unable to do it completely. But they kept saying that they were concerned about the people of Gaza, these protesters. They were concerned about the people of Gaza, so it was Israel that was engaging in a genocide. So now Hamas is killing Gazans, not Israel, and nobody's got anything to say. It really is kind of scary. I mean, nowhere is Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC. None of these folks are around. They're just quiet because it's Hamas killing civilians and not Israel. Same people are dying. People from Gaza are dying. It's just not Israel. And so nobody's saying anything. It's actually Hamas. It is very, very bizarre. It is 7:49 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. All right, Joan and Sam, you want to hear a song that people wrote for us here on Nashville's Morning News?
Yeah.
Guy named Ricky. He actually sent this to me quite some time ago, and I totally missed it, and then I saw it over the weekend. But the song is called Dandy Dan, and it's to the tune of the Candyman.
Who can take a headline and make it all make sense? Sprinkle it with facts from the conservative lens. The Danny Man, oh, the Danny Man can. But Bandy Man can, 'cause he mixes it with truth and makes the news sound grand. Who can take the Democrats and expose their evil schemes? show us their true faces and report the wicked scenes.
Now, apparently, Joan, Ricky wrote this himself and then used AI. And I guess this is Frank Sinatra.
Okay. So he used Frank Sinatra's voice.
Yeah, he wrote the lyrics.
This is so.
And then he went through AI and did this, and came up with this song. Now, Joan, you get a shout out.
Oh, I do.
You do. Listen to this. Now, Sam, I'm sorry, but he mentions Mason and not Sam. This was, I think, he put this together before you came on. But listen to the shout out to Joan.
The dandy man, oh, the dandy man can. The dandy man can, 'cause he really loves his fans and reveals their twisted dreams. Who can host on WTN 99.7 strong with Joan and Mason backing him up and keeping the show flowing along? The dandy man, oh, the dandy man can.
The Dandy Man can.
I love that I got a shout out.
You got a shout out.
Man can, 'cause he's talk radio star, a Marconi in it can.
There you go.
I love it.
So Joan got a shout out, Mason got a shout out, and my Marconi got a shout out.
Amazing.
There's a little bit more, but isn't that cool?
I love it.
So, Ricky, thank you. I actually got that over the weekend. I got it a long time ago, and I just completely oblivious and missed it. But I heard it over the weekend, and I love when people do fun stuff like that. And I mean, I don't know how these things work. I don't know how to do this, but the fact that Ricky, wrote down some lyrics and included, Joan and my Marconi and not Sam. You all right, Sam?
I'm not offended.
Okay, good. You shouldn't be.
As much as I love Frank Sinatra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good, though. I mean, that actually sounded like Frank Sinatra.
It's gotten scary. There's a page out there doing, they're taking rap songs that I would normally despise and not really want to listen to, and they're turning them into, 1950s doo-wop hits.
No kidding.
And they sound way better than their original rap, of course.
Of course. All right. It's 7:52, so thank you, Ricky. Joan thanks you as well. Sam doesn't thank you because you left him out. But Mason, I'm sure, is somewhere thanking you as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Joan, what is coming up in the news at 8?
We'll tell you why a pedicab driver shot and killed a rider this weekend in downtown Nashville. Also, President Trump is shrugging off the No Kings rallies. We've got that and more coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
1521, Joan, can you give a government shutdown update?
Sure.
Still shut down day 20.
Exactly. But I'm seeing this morning that on CNBC, Kevin Hassett said that the Schumer shutdown may be ending sometime this week. They're saying that they see cracks. He's by the way, the NEC director.
Okay.
Saying that they're seeing cracks. And now that the No Kings rally is over, they were kind of waiting for this to be, done, that they may be ready now to moderate their stance and go ahead.
So you're telling me, Joan, that the Democrats were waiting for the No Kings rally?
Well, that's what the White House is saying. Now, that's
okay.
That's the White House's position, of course.
Sure.
So we'll see if that's true.
Well, you know what? It seems to make sense. It seems to track because they want to be able to say that, Donald Trump is the one the king that is keeping the government shut down, which is obviously silly. But imagine the Democrats, members of the military can't get paid. You got all these federal workers can't get paid. And they want to have their little protests all across the country. And so they're throwing federal employees and the military under the bus so that they could make their little point. What a bunch of crybabies.
Shut up.
It's 8 o'clock. That's right. Shut up. It is 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. Now 8 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. That accident this morning in Joelton. It's on 24 eastbound side at Whites Creek Pike, involving some injuries that's causing some big delays this morning. Careful as you go. In the news, Metro Nashville police investigating the fatal shooting of a pedicab rider. As self-defense, Channel 4's Braden Ross reports that a group of friends visiting from Memphis caught two pedicabs back to their hotel. They were in the area of Bridgestone Arena early Saturday morning.
On the ride, police say the group got into an argument with the drivers about the cost of the ride, which led them to stop and ask the group to get out of the cabs. Police say the group then got into a physical fight with one of the drivers, 21-year-old Christopher Jones. Jones told police one of Rivas Romo's friends punched him in the head, which caused him to pull his gun. He said Rivas Romo came toward him quickly, and that's when he shot him.
Now, Rivas Romo did not survive. No charges filed against the driver as that investigation, however, continues. A motorcyclist died in a hit and run in Springfield over the weekend. WSMV4's Danielle Ledbetter says that the driver of a white SUV ran a stop sign and hit that 18-year-old motorcyclist.
Officials say the 18-year-old did not survive. Police say the driver of the SUV got out of the car and ran away after the crash. It didn't take long before Springfield police caught the driver.
Now, this happened before midnight on Saturday. If you've got some business to do in Laverne today, you may have to reschedule it. The FBI and the TBI are investigating a cybersecurity issue. Here's Channel 4's Amanda Hara.
The city investigates a cybersecurity situation. This was discovered Friday. Certain computer systems were disrupted and were taken offline immediately.
Essential services, though, like public safety and water, are operational today. In Paris, the Louvre remains closed today after the world-famous museum was broken into early on Sunday morning. Now, ABC's James Longman says that those thieves disguised as construction workers got away with centuries-old jewels.
Police say the masked robbers drove up to the side of the museum in a truck mounted with a ladder described as a mobile freight elevator. Police say the lift was extended up to a second-floor window, which the thieves broke open using an angle grinder, a handheld power tool used for metalwork. From there, they're alleged to have threatened security guards before ransacking the Apollo Gallery, where Napoleon III's crown jewels were on display. Police say they tried to set fire to the lift they used before they fled. The raid lasted all of 7 minutes before they escaped on scooters.
And that report calling into question whether those guards were armed and what authorities they had. President Trump is publicly shrugging off this weekend's No Kings protests.
The president has choice words for the estimated 7 million people
at No Kings rallies in all 50 states in Europe on Saturday.
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country.
On ABC's This Week, House Speaker Mike Johnson defended calling the protests Hate America rallies.
They needed a stunt. They needed a show.
And he says they missed the irony.
If President Trump was a king, the government would be open right now.
Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. So it's about a half hour before trading takes off here, and the Dow futures are plus 150. NASDAQ futures plus 135. The S&P is up 30. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Yeah, it's still there, that crash in Jolson on 24, the eastbound lanes at Whites Creek Pike, exit 35. It involves injuries, and it's causing a big slowdown. You've also got an accident in Bellevue, Charlotte Pike, east of Highway 70S. One on 65, southbound lanes at the North Loop at I-24. That's exit 86A and B. The accident is after Trinity Lane. Then Glencliff, Nolensville Pike. Watch for a crash this morning north of McCall Street. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.806 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. I could not believe this story. Although I don't know why I couldn't believe this story, because I have been, this sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not. It's just a fact. We've all been predicting this would happen, and it has. Joan, did you see what they found in Louisiana?
Not sure.
They found a guy who, it would appear, has ties to the Hamas-led October 7th attack, and he was now living in Louisiana. So apparently this guy actually took part in the attack on Israel on October 7th. He was a member of Hamas, or an offshoot of Hamas, took part in the attack one way, shape, or form or another. And then he got in through the southern border, the wide open southern border, under Joe Biden. We had a murderous, rampaging Hamas member in Louisiana after he apparently took part in the attack on Israel. Isn't that just horrifying?
Do you want to know what his name is?
Go ahead.
Mahmoud Amin Yaqub al-Mutari.
Atta girl.
I've been practicing.
I'll have it with rice, please, on the side.
So he
it's not a dish.
Allegedly got in. He flew in to the Dallas-Fort Worth airport with a fake visa But this apparently, it appears to be, and I can't confirm it anywhere. I've been looking around, but it appears to be one of those flights that Biden,
parole.
Load up. Parole.
Yeah, parole.
Load up a whole bunch of people overseas, throw them on a plane, and shoot them into middle America.
Remember, so basically what would happen with parole is they would fly in these, folks that were from other countries, and they would fly in, and then they would send them to various parts of the country. And this was something that Biden was famous for. They expanded the parole. Because this is all sort of off the cuff, I don't remember how badly Biden had expanded that program, but it was a massive expansion of just, you know what, we're going to have a wide open border, and we're also going to fly in these, illegal aliens, and we're not going to call them illegal. We're going to call them legally present in America, which, by the way, is what Biden did, is that he called all of these people, and I'm paraphrasing, but legally present, so you can't really call them illegal aliens. And people like this guy, his name was what again, Joan?
His name was Mahmoud Amin Yaqub al-Matari.
All right. As of Friday afternoon, it was not yet clear from court records if al-Matari has legal representation. The Justice Department in 2024 charged 6 senior leaders of Hamas with terrorism, murder conspiracy, and sanctions evasion charges for the October 7th attack. I mean, how many of these guys do you think are in this country? I mean, it's got to be a lot.
Hundreds.
He has a Facebook page. And on the Facebook page, he has posted pictures of himself posing with his Glock. Not kidding.
With his Glock?
Mm-hmm.
They've got pictures of him with these, terrorists in Gaza. Mm-hmm. And part of what they found was he was going back and forth on social media trying to recruit people. So that was, I think, maybe part of how they caught this guy. But this is what we've been talking about all along. Who is here? What have they said their names were, and what is their actual names, and what is their intention?
Yeah. Remember, out of a terrorist watch list of 250 people that came into contact with the southern border, 99 of them were let in by the Biden administration.
Yep. And that's the thing. And they just, that's why you look at the No Kings rallies. Not to be going back to that, but I mean, every channel you look at today is talking about the No Kings rallies. Now, my own 2 cents on the No Kings rallies is that it made the Democrats look silly. It made the Democrats look stupid. And for the Democrats, they are completely tone deaf as to just how bad they look with all of this. So, but the bottom line is with the No Kings rallies is that they forget everything that Joe Biden screwed up. And that's the thing. That's the problem that they have, is that Americans, even though we have a short memory, I think the American people will remember. And, we've spent a good part of the show this morning chronicling the incredibly bad behavior of these folks who are out there doing these protests and the No Kings protests. And a lot of them are talking about and chanting about, 8647. If you've seen the signs, they've got 8647. They've got MAGA equals fascism, MAGA equals Nazi, all of that stuff. And so you look at what Donald Trump is doing, which is, finding peace in the Middle East, or trying to find peace in the Middle East, doing everything he can to get rid of these illegal alien gang members and all of these accomplishments that Donald Trump has been able to push through during his first year. How long has Donald Trump been in office the second time? It's October, so 10 months? So Donald Trump hasn't even been in office for 10 months, and look at all that he has accomplished. Meantime, you've got the likes of Robert De Niro.
He will not. We see it all the time. He will not want to leave. He set it up with his I guess he's the Goebbels of the cabinet, Stephen Miller.
It's so funny because Robert De Niro sounds, and I played some of his audio earlier. There's Robert De Niro on MSNBC, and he literally says that Stephen Miller, because remember we talked the last couple of weeks about how it's, open season on Stephen Miller. The insults are just flying.
He's a Nazi. Yes, he is. And he's Jewish, and he should be ashamed of himself.
So Robert De Niro flat out calls Stephen Miller a Nazi. Now, do you know what I wonder? Can you sue I wish I knew some lawyers. But can Stephen Miller sue Robert De Niro for calling him a Nazi?
Technically.
Sam, could you ask your parents, or do you know?
Technically, it's defamation of character. You're
Clearly.
associating my name and my likeness with something that is not true about me. The thing is that for the longest time, conservatives on the right have gone, okay, well, so this is just name calling. That's all they've got. Well, really, it is that, I think Chris has played this on his show. It's out of the communist directive to call the opposition something that, as they say, already has a name that is affiliated with a sour smell.
Define your opponent. That's what they're doing. They're defining their opponent. The problem, you know what the problem is? They're defining their opponent because they have really, have you noticed this? They're ratcheting up the Nazi talk. That was one of the things that was clearly present over the weekend was the ratcheting up of the Nazi talk. And I think one of the things that Trump said, I think I'll see if I can find the audio, but one of the things that Trump said is that these Democrats, they're like kamikaze pilots right now. You know what I mean? They are letting it burn, and doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what the consequences may be. They're going to live or die by this accusation that Donald Trump is a Nazi, and you've got the Donald Trump supporters who are Nazis and so forth, and they're going to live or die by this accusation. And I think that they're going to die by this accusation of the Democrats. And no, I'm not talking about that in a literal sense, but what I am saying is that from a political standpoint, I just don't think this is going to work out well for him. It is 8:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. (8:16) Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. By the way, I had mentioned earlier about how President Trump is looking to defund Colombia. No, not Columbia, Tennessee. This is the nation of Colombia. Remember last week we talked about, and it is so amazing, that the news cycle that is our modern day society. It's like these things just are a flash in the pan. I may talk about something one day, feels like a really big story, but then all of these other stories just start piling on. So I haven't been able to revisit it. But one of the things that President Trump has said is that he is going to stop sending federal funds to Colombia. And you know why that is? It's because Colombia, they are huge manufacturers of cocaine. I actually didn't know that it was so bad. Do you know that 2/3 of the world's cocaine comes from Colombia? And then they send the cocaine into Venezuela, and then Venezuela tries to smuggle it into America. And so that's why President Trump is going after Venezuela. And he is saying that, no, I'm not going to give you any more millions of dollars. Apparently, we've already given Colombia a couple of $100 million, and Trump is saying no more because they're using that money to make cocaine. And so we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to give them any money. And that makes all the sense in the world. Because if they're using the money, if they're using the aid that we are giving them, then why in the world would we continue to give them that money? The president was asked about Colombia. I'm going to play you that audio right now because I think it's important. Here's what President Trump said about defunding Colombia.
And in fact, even when they had better presidents than they have right now, that's how they're making a lot of money, drugs. I used to complain about it when they had a very nice president, but he wasn't doing it. It was all talk. They are a drug manufacturing machine, Colombia, and we're not going to be part of it. So we're going to drop all money that we're giving to them. It has nothing to do with them stopping drug production. And you look at the fields are loaded up with drugs, and they refine the drugs, and they make tremendous amounts of cocaine, and they send it all over the world, and they destroy families. No, Colombia is out of control, and now they have the worst president they've ever had. He's a lunatic who's got a lot of problems, mental problems.
So that is President Trump talking about Gustavo Petro. In a social media post, Donald Trump referring to Petro as an illegal drug leader who is low-rated and very unpopular. The Republican president warning that Petro better close up drug operations or the United States will close them for him. And President Trump saying, and it won't be done nicely. I mean, it was a long, let me see if I can pull up the president's, and this isn't, by the way, the first time. You remember back on his, during his first term, Trump tried to defund the nation of Colombia, and Congress wouldn't let him. But here's what the president said on True Social. President Gustavo Petro of Colombia is an illegal drug leader, strongly encouraging the massive production of drugs in big and small fields all over Colombia. I think we give Colombia, this is so funny. Do you know that we give Colombia like $31 million, at least $31 million a year for farming? I wonder if they're using that for, drugs. Sam, how do you make cocaine?
Like Sam would know or something?
Well, of course Sam would know. He's a drug user. I'm totally kidding, Sam. I'm totally kidding.
Well, Dan,
you're the youngest of us, so I just kind of assume that you know these things.
Actually, we had to watch documentaries on stuff like this in high school. And so what they do is the coca plant, the coca leaf, it gets ground up in the same, like the masa mills that they grind corn and stuff in.
Yeah.
And so they'll grind it up. They'll cut it with gasoline and other things, and they'll work it. So I don't know the exact chemical process. They'll work it into a powdery form where it's then cut with more chemicals. I mean, sometimes it's cut with stuff like Clorox, that's also white and powdery, same consistency.
Where does the actual,
It comes from a plant.
Okay, so it's theoretical that if we're giving Colombia $31 million...
We should be getting some more pure cocaine than what we've been
to
dealt.
help them farm, then we could be paying for the cocaine that is ultimately making its way back into America.
Oh, we're not ultimately... That is definitely what's happening.
So I like that Trump is saying, you know what? No more. He says, as of today, the payments we've been giving to Colombia or any other form of payment or subsidies will no longer be made to Colombia. He's also going to hit them with a massive amount of tariffs to protect the United States. And I love that. He says Petro, a low-rated and very unpopular leader with a fresh mouth towards America, better close up these killing fields immediately or the United States will close them up for him. And it won't be done nicely. And of course, Donald Trump says, thank you for your attention to this matter.
That makes it official.
You know what? It does make it official. For once, nicely done on the bumper music, Sam.
Wow, Sam, you've done something right for a change.
I'm in a snarky mood today.
You really are.
You know what the great thing is, though, Sam?
You've lost your...
You about
and suddenly,
to say virginity?
No, I was...
Sadly, that happened. Not sadly. That happened a long time ago. Not sadly.
I'm sorry. I just got hung up on the part of that.
Oh, she's talking about my vasectomy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was going to say virtue.
That also was lost a long time ago. Moving right along.
Snip, snip.
Don't make me break out the sound effect, John.
Oh, goodness.
By the way, you know, it just occurs to me. I have yet to tell Chris Hand about the stirrups.
Shut up. I'm sure that Chris Hand cannot wait to hear about the stirrups.
She's probably going to traumatize him.
Chris, did you hear about the stirrups? I am the news person,
There you go.
Wow.
And for once, it's no fake news.
That's right.
I'm just kidding, Joan. 8:23. Jones got the news coming up at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, why some Tennessee lawmakers are suing Governor Bill Lee. Also, the Florida hunting stand that's got the FBI's attention. All of that and more at 8:30 here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
WTN.
8:23. Dan Mendes here from my friends at Stoltz Co. Now, this is a great Tennessee company. They do continue to grow and expand. Now, you know that they build pole barns and that these pole barns can serve as a garage, an event space, an equestrian building, even barn dominiums. Yeah, you can live in these pole barns. And these days, those barn dominiums, they are new and improved from Stoltz Co. They are now offering you turnkey options now. That means that they handle the design, the construction, and the amazing finishing touches. You turn the key and you are home thanks to my friends at Stoltz Co. Now, they also offer storm shelters to keep you and your family safe. That's also new as Stoltz Co does continue to expand. Now, your new pole barn from Stoltz Co can be used for anything. So if you have some land that needs a building for whatever you want, call my friends at Stoltz Co. 615-622-5992, 615-622-5992. You can also find them on Instagram and Facebook to see examples of their incredible work around Middle Tennessee. STOLTZCA, StoltzCo.com. 8:29, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So people are saying that I am not in a snarky mood, Joan. I'm in a snippy mood. That's from Keith.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And also another person saying, this is TB, Dan could not be snarky with the national audience overnight, so he's getting it out of his system with his local audience. No, I'm not really snarky today. Am I snarky today?
No.
I'm not PSC, am I?
You're not any more snarky than you normally are. How's that?
That's exactly right, Joan.
Okay, we're used to snark.
A snark is a good thing, isn't it? I could be like, Joan's like, okay, sure.
Whatever you say, Dan.
Whatever you say, Dan.
I'm not going nuts.
All right, we got to go. 8:30 on WTN.
Good morning. It is now 8:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Some Tennessee lawmakers suing Governor Bill Lee over the deployment of National Guard troops in Memphis. The lawsuit alleges the deployment violates both the state constitution and state law.
Let's face it, you cannot enforce the law while simultaneously breaking the law. The two are not aligned. We have to accept the fact that we have a crime problem. We must do everything in our power to reduce violent crime in our communities, but not like this.
Now, late Friday night, Davidson County Judge Patricia Head Moskal denied their request for a preliminary injunction, saying the lawmakers didn't demonstrate any immediate or irreparable injury, loss, or damage. She did schedule a hearing, though, for November 3rd. The FBI has announced that a hunting stand was discovered within sight and with a line of sight right to Air Force One's landing zone at Palm Beach County Airport. Here's reporter Jamilka Gibson from 12 News in Palm Beach.
Secret Service agents found an elevated hunting stand in the direct line of sight of where President Donald Trump exits Air Force One at Palm Beach International Airport.
If I hear a hunting stand, it ain't no deers over here, or it ain't nothing to hunt with, so what you hunting for? And if people is what you hunting for, then this is crazy.
The stand was found Thursday during security preparations for Trump's Friday arrival. According to Fox News, law enforcement sources say it appeared to be set up months ago.
And the stand, by the way, is perched in a tree at a busy intersection near the airport. The FBI says it did dismantle that stand. It has taken it to their lab for investigation. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Pretty nice start to Wall Street this morning with the Dow Jones up 192 points, the NASDAQ gaining 174. S&P is up 41 points. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:32, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here. I've been telling you for years about USS, United Structural Systems. Now, they are experts in waterproofing, concrete leveling, and foundation repair. This is a terrific company, and they've helped me several times with my home, and that is why I proudly endorse United Structural Systems. As a matter of fact, I was a customer before I was an endorser, and I'm one of 30,000 satisfied customers. And one guy, listen to this recent review on Google. He says that USS was highly professional. The crew was phenomenal from start to finish. They treated his home as if they were working on their own home. And yeah, he does give USS 5 stars all the way. Now, United Structural Systems, they will not charge you for any unnecessary repairs, and you won't pay a dime until the work is done and you're a satisfied customer. Check them out online at USSTN.com. They can help you with basement and crawl space waterproofing, basement wall stabilization, and foundation repair. We guarantee our best. Call USS 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, USSTN.com.
Okay, there's an accident in Priest Park. It's on Bell Road, south of Ned Shelton Road, I-440, eastbound in Belmont. At Hillsborough Pike, 21st Avenue exit, that's number 3. Watch for an accident there. Creve Hall on 65 northbound past Harding Place, exit 78, and then at Metro Center on 65 southbound side at Rosa Parks Boulevard, exit 85. And one more in Donaldson. This is Lebanon Pike, east of Briley Parkway. Watch for an accident scene there. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.837 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in to the crisscross handoff. Chris,
what's up,
how are you,
Dan?
buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I am outstanding.
You have a good weekend?
All right, so you know what's great about my weekend?
Tell me about it.
Is that even though I got my vasectomy on Friday, it gave me an excuse not to do anything on Saturday.
Okay.
Like, I totally, because, you know, the Vols were playing on Saturday night. Vandy was playing LSU. And there's a lot of really good football on Saturday.
And you got to sit there with the frozen peas?
So I may or may not have overplayed my vasectomy card.
How do you underplay the vasectomy card?
Well, I could have said, boy, you know what, honey? I feel great. Let me go do a bunch of housework. But instead,
you didn't go that route.
No, I didn't go.
That's
shockingly,
good.
I
That's
know
good.
I didn't go down that route. No, I was. Oh, honey, it hurts so bad, and I got to sit here. And all I could do today is watch the Vandy game, and then the Georgia game, and then the Vols game, and then the next day I watched because I still had the issues percolating there. I had to sit and watch the Titans game.
Oh, how was that?
And then watching that was more painful than the vasectomy.
We actually went to the Titans game.
Did you really?
Yeah, me and the boys and their buddy and their buddy's dad.
Heard there were a lot of seats available.
Yeah, it felt like a Patriots home game.
What are they going to do when that stadium is done and they're asking an arm and a leg for tickets to that stadium, and people are going to get a little ticked off about wanting to go. And by the way, do you know what the cameras did not pick up after the game?
What's that?
Mike Vrabel waving at the owner's box.
Did he really? I missed that as well.
I'm just kidding, folks. I don't know.
Oh.
No, Vrabel was. Apparently, I read this whole thing about Mike Vrabel. The former coach went to go, coach the Patriots.
It was a huge mistake to get rid of him.
Huge mistake. That dude, and how many games have they won? I don't want to do football, but they've won 5 games over the past 2 years, something like that.
They've won 4 games under Callahan, and Vrabel has 5 wins this season alone.
Yeah, it's bad. Now, Vrabel called Brian Callahan, and, offered him his condolences at losing the gig.
Yep.
I'd be willing to bet. You ever lose a job? You ever been under pressure?
I haven't been fired or laid off from any of my jobs.
And I'll tell you why you shouldn't feel bad for Callahan.
Why?
He's making $23,000 a day until 2029.
Jeez.
$700,000 a month to not be a head coach in the NFL.
Instantly don't feel bad. Isn't it funny how that works?
Yeah, I want that gig. Can somebody please fire me and give me that kind of... Who agreed to that stupid deal? So they fired him with, is that 2 or 3 years left on a contract?
Pretty much. Well, it may be how the buyout's structured, I guess, over the time.
There are some organizations that are so bad that you go, yeah, you dodged a bullet getting out of there,
Yeah, so what does he do? He just sits around for 3 years and collects his money, and then do you think he'll get another job, that Brian Callahan?
Probably. What happened to Arthur Smith when he was our offensive coordinator? Titans had success. He gets the head coaching job in Atlanta. Then he fails. Now he's got an OC position with Pittsburgh. So he'll cycle back into another staff somewhere, and he'll be an offensive coordinator again, where maybe he'll get some actual play calling experience.
Well, here's the thing. Is the problem the coach or is the problem the general manager?
The new general manager, no.
I realized that Callahan made some literal coaching mistakes. He didn't know the plays or the rule or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But at this point, do you even want them to win if you're a Titans fan, or do you want to just race to the bottom?
Well, if you race to the bottom, you get a first-round draft
Exactly.
pick.
Nobody wants to be on the treadmill of mediocrity.
No, they don't. So anyway, did you have fun at the game?
We had a blast.
Did
we
you?
had a blast.
Did you come in your Patriots gear?
Yep, the boys rocked their jerseys, and we were decked out. I got a lot of leftover Pats gear at the house.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get hassled at all for wearing your
No, there was
Patriots gear?
There was more Patriots fans than there were Titans fans at the stadium.
Were you wearing your Drew Bledsoe jersey?
No.
Your Adam Vinatieri jersey?
I was wearing a Randy Moss jersey.
He was on the Patriots?
Oh, yeah.
Randy Moss?
Yep.
I thought he was on the Vikings. Whatever.
No, he was on the perfect season team.
Yeah, the
that
perfect
failed.
season. Oh,
So the last time I had gone to a Patriots game was years ago in Detroit, and there was a preseason game. It was like the weekend after Aaron Hernandez had gotten arrested for murdering those people.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife was pregnant with Kennedy at the time. This is how long ago it was.
Wow.
And she could wear a bigger jersey. So I put her in the Randy Moss one that I had and a sweatshirt over the back of it. And it just so happened that Randy Moss wore the same number as the murderer that had just been arrested that week.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't think about it. And we didn't think about it at all. And my wife had said, wow, we're getting a lot of weird looks from these Detroit fans. I didn't realize that the Patriots were so hated. I was like, yeah, me either. And then about a quarter into the game, I realized, oh,
we got to buy you another jersey, honey.
they think you're representing the guy that just got arrested for the murder.
That is funny. So
sorry,
what'd you do?
sorry
Did
about
you-
that. She took off the sweatshirt. That way,
So she had a t-shirt on
That we
underneath.
could see it was Randy Moss, not Aaron Hernandez.
So my vasectomy, because people want to know. I talked about this in the 5.
This.
So,
We don't want to bury the lead.
if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you will see the chair
Oh no!
that I had to sit in. Now,
he has been excited for you to see this all
Look at that thing.
day
I
long,
knew
Chris.
there was going to be stirrups.
oh, there were stirrups. Not only were there stirrups, but I had to wait like 45 minutes with my feet in the stirrups.
In the stirrups.
In the stirrups, just hey, everybody, I'm waiting.
Let it all hang out.
Let it all hang out.
Oh gosh.
Was
And
it was it breezy in there?
It was so cold.
Did they give you like a sheet or something to cover up in?
Like a paper sheet.
Yeah.
But it was very drafty. And she took this. I had a female nurse.
Oh, that makes it even worse, doesn't it?
So she took this, like, I don't know what it is, but like numbing cream. This stuff was freezing. And she put it like
Right there.
with no warning. I kid you not, I screamed like a little girl.
No, you didn't.
No offense to little girls, but I probably was a higher octave, 1 octave higher than your average little girl. Yeah, it was awful. And then
I tried to tell you not to go through with this. If you recall, we could run the tape.
Oh, no.
I think there was
do recall.
one guy standing in your corner saying, "Don't do it, Dan."
Yeah, and then there's my wife who I have to live with, and she has to live with me.
That's fair.
And then I had to wait like 45 minutes. At one point, the office was completely silent.
Oh no!
I kid you not. I promise you. I thought they left me in there and went to lunch. And I called Amy and I'm like, honey, can you like call the front desk or something? Like, I'm embarrassed to do it. But can you call the front desk and see if there's anybody here?
You don't want to walk out in your paper apron.
No, I didn't want to walk out.
It's like
in
the
my...
same thing they give you at the dentist, they clip it around your chest, but you've got it down around your waist. Is that what it was?
It's like a little paper loincloth.
Kind of. Yeah, sort of.
But I could just imagine that you're sitting there, you hear this empty doctor's office, and those people are like,
I'm like, hello?
across the street getting lunch. Didn't we have one moron for the day?
Yes. Another moron for the day. Yes, absolutely.
Oh.
So it was, I got so stoned on Friday after the show.
What?
After my vasectomy. I did. I came home.
Oh, no.
I took some edibles. I was really stressed.
The anxiety was high?
The anxiety was high, yes.
Do they do they help with pain? Or is it just anxiety?
It's both.
So they gave me they didn't give me anything for the pain. They didn't even give me gas. I had some numbing stuff.
But after the numbing thing is done, it's all over? Like
it's all over, man. I drove home.
They told you to take Tylenol?
Don't do that.
Well, ibuprofen, whatever.
Don't do
it was.
that.
It's not like your swimmers could develop autism.
So luckily we had some, we'd taken a recent trip to Illinois.
Oh.
And so we had some edibles. And this was as good a time as any to take it, man.
No, right?
What in the world?
An admission.
I had the weirdest dreams.
I can imagine.
Oh my gosh. So, and it helped me get over it. So, and then Murphy Show wanted me to come on a show.
Really?
And I'm like, no.
To give a post-op update?
Yeah. You know what? To be honest with you, I didn't know what I would say because I was so out of it.
That's
like
wild.
I truly was out of it.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, it would have. It also
made
could
for
have been
good
the end of my
radio.
career.
Yeah.
So, there's that as well. So anyway, but the update is everything went fine. I want you to imagine this, though. You know when you go to the dentist and there's like that awkward dentist, hygienist conversation?
Yes.
Imagine that 10 times over with the guy doing your vasectomy.
And your feet in stirrups.
Feet in stirrups. So, what do you do for a living? Now, he did ask me that, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness. Do I tell this guy that I am a radio
No, you can't
talk
do
show
that.
host,
You can't do that.
conservative?
Not with your feet in the stirrups.
Feet are in the stirrups. He's got whatever that thing was in his hand.
Oh, no.
And I throw down, yes, I work in radio. Really? You disc jockey? Oh, no, I'm just a talk show host.
Bam.
Really? Really? What do you talk about? Nothing. Which some might agree. But yeah, and but luckily he said I'm apolitical and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, sure.
So, it's good fun. Amy's going to end up pregnant, and it's like they're over there laughing at the office.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So I don't have any political opinion. Oops.
Oops. Oh, did we forget to cut that side or whatever it
Oh
is?
my gosh, that's
anyway,
awful.
Whatever. So, but you know what? Actually, it was a great experience. Other than the pain,
Did it hurt?
it did. Well, the actual cutting of the vas deferens wasn't painful, but it was whatever shot they gave me. I had to go to my happy place, man.
Did you?
I did. I had to go to my happy place. I'm just like,
I feel for you.
yep.
Thought
How
about
many guys right now are crossing their legs?
I'm feeling it.
Sam raised his hand. All right, moving right along. I've spent way too much time on this. Anyway, so you were disturbed by the same thing that I was disturbed, and that is this kid. Let me get the picture up. First of all, what did you think? Just give me a real quick update. What did you think about the No Kings protest? I mean, I thought they were silly, but
I thought it was low energy. A lot of Grand Tifa. Did you see Grand Tifa out there?
Absolutely. What did they call him, Joan? We were laughing earlier.
Ah.
They get Q-tips. Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, gray hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
people that watch MSNBC and CNN, they were out in full force and they left.
Boy, they sure were.
There was a lot of sitting down and taking breaks.
I mean, you've got so many great pieces of audio of people just unhinged, screaming, saying all of the most ridiculous things, and my thing is there's just a complete lack of self-awareness. You think about what Donald Trump got done this weekend, because he got a lot done this weekend. There's a whole thing about how they have now. I didn't do it locally, but he got a deal done so that chips are being manufactured here in America. That was a big story over the weekend. We are making millions and millions of dollars, and the whole point is that we are on the forefront now of creating and manufacturing these chips, and we're for AI, and we're leaving China in the dust. So while these morons across the country are doing this stupidity, Trump has scoreboard with all of these different.
Yep.
All of these different, and he's got, of course, what's going on with Israel and all that. So
he said before the end of the year, we're probably going to be at $20 trillion of private investments in the country.
Yeah.
Biden barely got to $1 trillion over 4 years.
Yep, that is exactly right. By the way, Joan, just so you know, people are just slamming me Not with negativity.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
For a change. But no, it's people are talking about the tree stand in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I'm going to have to say this like a third time. I know that tree stands can be used for photographers. But
this was not looking like a photographer's tree stand.
Here's the point, though.
Yeah.
My point is that it's there and nobody knew about it from the Secret Service. That's my point.
That's a huge fail. And it seems like the Secret Service has had fail after fail after fail. You had Secret Service agents cheering on the death of Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
You had events after the Trump assassination, attempts, plural, where Secret Service agents were leaving their post to breastfeed their toddlers. It was just, it's excuse after excuse after excuse from them.
They didn't see the kid up on the roof when he tried to kill President Trump.
Or or at the UN General Assembly, not rushing him off the escalator that gets frozen in place, which is basically the president standing on the X.
Yes. And it just doesn't feel like it's getting any better.
No.
You know?
It's not getting any better.
And then you see a weekend of protests that are just justifying violence against this administration.
Asking for it. Just asking for it. And I can't find the video now, but Chris, I know that you've got the video. I did play it earlier of this kid who he's got a knife. And how big would you say that blade was?
I don't know, 6 or 7 inches.
6, 7, 8 inches. So this is a very big blade, and he is stabbing basically a piñata or an effigy, whatever you want to say, of President Trump. And that is some serious Gaza-type stuff.
Yeah, you look at that video, and the kid has he's got an N95 mask on. He's got pepper spray-proof goggles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you look at that, and you're like, what's the difference? You know, you see the meme from The Office, corporate would like to know the difference between these two pictures. And you go, this is the same picture. You do that with the indoctrination that you see in the Middle East versus what you're seeing now with leftists in America. And it's hard to tell the difference between the two pictures.
Well, it is, and yet... You know, again, as Donald Trump was getting stuff done this weekend, getting her done, this is what was going on. And by the way, the kid also had like a bat or like some sort of a stick. And so he's stabbing this. And, you know, this is something, and we were talking about this earlier. Do you think that kid is going to grow up well-adjusted?
No.
No. I mean, the parents are perfectly fine with videoing their kid stabbing an effigy of a president of the United States.
People are laughing.
People are laughing. People are applauding. People think it's great. And, you know, clearly it is horrifying. And I think this is something that is going to continue to define. And I did find it. If you're watching on YouTube, there it is. How would you think that kid is? Maybe 8, 9?
Yeah, I was 11 max.
11 max. Yeah. And I don't know. And people think this is perfectly normal.
Yep, everything's fine.
Everything's fine. What is coming up?
So today on the show, we got Joanna Daniels. She's coming back. She's been talking to us quite a bit. She's the chairman of the Sumner County Library Board. She's been trying to get transgender books out of the library. Mm-hmm. And instead of that coming to fruition, they're now trying to remove her from the library board.
Of course they are.
Of
course they are.
It is the most bananas story that you're going to hear. So we'll talk to Joanna about that. We'll also give you all the latest from the No Kings protests, immigration enforcement, and more, plus a VA and New Jersey governor race update.
All right. 8:54, Joan's got the news. Joan?
Yeah, they dropped the crown. What the Louvre thieves did make off with, though, this weekend. And the latest TikTok trend that has police showing up at your front door. Those stories and more coming up at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here, 8:54. A great way to increase the value of your home with my friends at Zintex. How about a bathroom upgrade from my friends at Zintex? Now, this is a great company. They've got a great deal just for listeners to my show. Listen to this. How about converting your bathtub into a walk-in shower? Now, Zintex can do that. And for listeners to my show, you can get this great deal. $999 off or 0% interest for 2 years. Whatever works best for you. Zintex is going to help you run the numbers, and they'll help you figure out, what do you want? Do you want almost $1,000 off, or do you want 0% interest for 2 years? Either one is really good. Now, Zintex has won awards for ethics from the Better Business Bureau. And last year, they were voted one of the best places to work in the construction industry. And happy employees mean great customer service. Now, remember that great deal? You can get $999 off or 0% interest for 2 years, whatever does work best for you. You mentioned WTN, you get, appropriately enough, a free Kohler toilet with your purchase. Find them online at Zintex, Zintex.com, Zintex, Zintex.com.